Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. So go so the remix.
DMB, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us in your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty who's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. But then it took a long fine eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. He was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so tough. I felt this sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, a killing eye. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe. Shaped like a coke bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess with your beauty. I'm impressed and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger, we look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty. I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
Such the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl, beautiful girl. Yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money. You seen her? Hot Ice. Have you seen her? LP. Have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look.
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace several presents and gifts. Call me Santa Claus. I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy.
boy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me ass and culture, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'm a go-getter. Since I'm a go-getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych.
Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling night, killing time. I found a beautiful girl.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right. What's going on? How are you? Yes, it's early, mad early. Not the typical stuff, Let me just make sure the audio is working. Good. All right, so it's not our typical stuff. It's not going to be our typical stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a quick test to see how I feel this. I'll see about it in about 15 minutes if I want to continue or not. It's going to be a reaction video. All right, so it's going to be about a reaction video. I'm just going to be right here listening to this, and I'll be reacting. And this is not our usual time, so I expect that it might be a little bit different. So the rest of this particular podcast from Just Pearly Things, MTR Media Tutorial, something like that, and Donovan Sharp. There was a lot of gems in it, and I figure, let me just listen. I could see about 3 people in the studio with me already. Let's just listen and react together. I'm going to be reacting. I'm also doing some side works over here, and see my mic is on, and then we'll see how it goes. I'm going to have a little background music on, just to, to make sure I'm on the same page with you. But we'll see, let me just see if I play this. Let's see.
You gotta get the situation started.
All right.
Yeah, the content creation space, it's unique to be sure, but it's been good to me, man.
Let's see.
I mean, I love it, man.
Okay, yeah, that's bad. So
I don't have to worry about
I'm gonna
money.
keep the background music off.
It's been nothing but great. Well,
Right.
it's been nothing but great financially. On the other side, maybe not so much, but
There you go.
it's interesting. When you've done this, when
All right,
you've
so
done this long enough, obviously the
just
bigger
keep
you
this on
get,
the
the more
screen.
criticism you get. And sometimes you go through periods in time where you just don't enjoy doing content that
So that right there, it's true. A lot of these people, a lot of time when you consume their content, I do watch all 3 of them whenever I get a chance, because it's just a space where a lot of contents that I personally need to push back on will come from. And I do get quite entertained by them, to be honest with you. But probably more so entertainment. But I'm starting to pay attention and say, hey, there's a lot of rhetorics that we need to push back on. At the very minimum, from a standpoint of, okay, let's rub minds together. A lot of times they have some good points. The reason why these people that they tend to blow up is because they are laced with truth. A lot of truthful stuff, right? This is why a lot of people could relate with them, and this is why they're growing very fast. Okay. But yes, I do see. Shout out to Daryl Long. Thank you, Daryl Long, for being here. I see Life with Natu. Hey, me too. I'm working on listening, so it's okay. It's not our regular, not our typical, right? Since somebody just woke up, you could tell my voice. No. Actually, I've been here. I've been hustling for at least 2.5 hours. But I just thought about this. I was like, let me try something out. Let's see, because I have this privilege of doing this. But welcome. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to listen. I'm going to react as we go. and then we'll take it from there. Then I'll check in the chat every now and then too. So if I like it, I might do things like this maybe once or twice a week for some of the longer podcasts. So let's keep going. He's already talking about something right there. Like they get drained too. A lot of these things and rhetorics are so negative that there's no way it doesn't drain the people creating them at intervals. Even people that I would consider are creating positive stuff, it drains them. But he's talking to that right now. But there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff in this. We reacted to a little bit of it yesterday, maybe 12 minutes of it. But let's keep going. Let's see. And I'll pause every now and then and say something.
Much. And when that happens, that's when you got to stop reading the comments, things of that nature. So you kind of have to, you just have to kind of discipline yourself not to do those kinds of things. But, it is what it is.
So now Pearl, right? And I don't know if you want me to know. You don't really even look at the analytics like that, right? Like when you post 10 to 12 videos a day, you're not even watching it.
She pays someone to look at analytics.
Yeah.
And reports them to her,
Yeah.
I wish.
You know what's funny? It's like people will ask me like, "What's your CPM or whatever," and I'm
You
just
have
like,
no idea.
Ask my guy.
I don't. I just
So great.
I just show up and have fun.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
But that's the formula, though, right? When you get to a point, I would love to get to a point where I can just show up and talk and have everybody else take care of that. That's the goal.
Yeah, but the
yeah.
thing is, when I started making money, that was the first thing I bought. Like, I was on a credit card in July.
I remember.
Yeah, and
I
so
remember.
because YouTube is like delayed. I didn't calculate, so I paid the people before I got.
So a lot of people don't realize that this girl, her name is Pearl, I guess, just Pearly Things, and she's consumed quite a lot of the red pill content, and she's regurgitating them. She can't relate, but on the other extreme end of being able to relate is just not knowing anything about life or this kind of stuff, and just finding it fascinating enough, having a little bit of empathy in there for men, which is I appreciate, right? And then being able to regurgitate. If you're, if you have nothing else going on, that can come up very easy for certain type of people, and she's that type of girl, and she's regurgitating a lot of the talking points, and she's very good at it. I have to be honest with you. Not only is she good at that, she's very good at the business of content creation. You could hear her basically saying she's outsourcing something as little as looking at analytics. A lot of people don't realize this is a real business. They think it's a joke. A lot of people just want to do fly-by-nights. A lot of people just want to sit in the comment and throw shaming, insults, and stuff like that at content creators. This is a job, so this is a business. So it's not just that simple. Also, the part that it consumes a lot of energy, time, and money. And she's a good example of that. So when people push out extremely polarized views and negative stuff, they're also compensated for doing that. Just keep that at the back of your mind.
Before you,
I didn't calculate it, or I didn't think about it, and so that was the first thing I bought was people, because I just didn't see the point of getting really good at any of these skills when I could just have someone else and I could get good at the content part.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you think being a content creator on YouTube has taught you? Like even like outside of the advice that you might give or the entertainment, like what is something that you know today?
She says she doesn't give advices.
Building the business.
I think what I have learned is that people are very brave when they are shrouded in the cloud of anonymity. People tend to be very, 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 very bold when they don't know when we don't know who they are. Most people have negative opinions about everybody, but one thing that content creation has really shown me is that it's kind of another world on the other side of the camera. That's what it's taught me. What about you?
What?
I say a lot.
That's your verbal tick, right? That's your verbal tick, yeah.
I do it to say that people so people know I'm listening.
Yeah, but
that means in conversation since you've been born, since you can talk, you've been humming, but you haven't figured that out until people have been commenting off of your hums.
Yeah, or when I did vlogs, I would notice because you have so much. I used to do vlogs. There was so much footage.
Yeah.
I would realize how much I repeat myself.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like I'll tell the same stories, and I'm like, how do the people around me listen to me all the time?
One thing that I do is I'm always, after I do a video or whatever, I go and I take a shower and I watch. I've got a waterproof iPhone and I hook it up to the Beats pill or whatever, and I'll watch and I'll listen to myself.
Oh, no.
Then I'll go down to my gym and I'll watch and listen again. I do that.
There's no way I'm listening to myself. That's just crazy. Oh Lord. See, that's the other thing. What I do here, for the most part, which listen, I don't know how people do this. What I do here, it's very natural for me. You know, I mean, particularly the content that I create is very natural for me at this stage. It's coming straight from the heart. That's why it can be wrong sometimes. That's why I love that people can push back and say, "Hey, I don't agree with that." Like every once in a while when I get that, you have no idea how excited I am, right? But when you're looking to be perfect, one of the troubles that a lot of these people have is that they're literally looking to be perfect human beings. A lot of time it's subconscious, but they're looking to be perfect human beings. They're not okay with the idea that they're just humans. You can make mistakes, you can have terrible past, terrible experiences. That's what makes us humans. Some people can handle it. I get it. And I have empathy for that. But the first step is that it's okay. You know? So it's not a surprise to me that he said he goes back and sit down and start watching himself. That's crazy. There's no way I want to be watching myself from outside of myself. No. I'm good with myself being with myself like this, like we said yesterday on the show, right? But watching myself, no. That's just too much.
That to try to maybe clear up any verbal tics or any deficiencies I may have. That's I don't know.
What about you?
I think it's a combination of a bunch of different things, but the one I like your comment around. I think I often go into conversations or situations with people just in general with a cup half full type of mentality.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still do and I always will do. But I mean, looking down on those comments from time to time, or even, watching the comments, after like Kevin died, like after someone died, that's how you choose to talk about someone, especially someone that looks like you.
Yeah.
It's just completely disgusting. And, I haven't gotten death threats, but I've gotten death wishes though.
Oh wow.
Which is, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. But I think in understanding that when you have the anonymity of the internet,
Sure.
that it is, you start to get the worst out of people.
It's crazy.
The
Man.
worst, the absolute worst. But, I've also, within that, learned how to have the toughest skin.
So for those of you that are content creators watching me, I want you to understand and be aware that when you are coming back, when you start to grow, right? The more you grow, the more negative stuff you're going to get. By the way, the more positive stuff you get too. But your mind will tend to focus more on the negative things. It's because we're all the same. At the core of everything, we're the same. Okay, we're all the same people. Different stories, different traumas, different, And it's kind of funny that he's saying that, like, yeah, you will start getting the larger you go. Now, especially if you deliberately put yourself in a position to be pushing against the trend of the ocean, that's precisely what they do. They're trying to beat down whatever they call the matrix. They're trying to run away from the realities of how things are. They're trying to live in a fantasy of going back into 50 years in the past. So of course, they that should be expected. Gorek says, "Is this guy not the one tweeted last night? I watched it a few hours ago." Yes, it's the one, but this is the longer. This is the longer version of it. Let me see. You didn't catch me live. You caught my ghost. This is office hours type of thing I'm testing out. Good to see you, Timmy T. How are you doing? I know you're supporting it behind the scenes. Good to see you. But yes, we're just reacting. I'm watching stuff that I typically watch during the course of my day. And I figure, if it's not too much eating into my productivity, I might do stuff like this every now and then. More relaxed, not really a show. We're just hanging out. All right, let's continue.
Possible.
Man,
I don't
you ain't
respond to the
lying.
shit. You know what
You
I
ain't
mean?
lying, man.
I just let it just go. I would say there's 2 times where I've said something in regards to all of the bullshit that I see down in the space, and it's after Kevin died and looking at all of the that was happening. I made sure to let my piece go regarding what I thought about those people, and then also too when I had cancer last year. When I was seeing people upload videos talking about that I did not have cancer, you know, something that was a life-changing
Well,
situation
crazy,
for
man.
myself. Those are the 2 times that I've mentioned something about that. But other than that, you know, you got to have the toughest skin in the world in order to be in this spot, or just figure out how to ignore it.
You do.
You know, like don't look at the comments.
I mean, and you have to learn to not have antennas. There are just certain people, every time they're tagged in a video, they gotta watch it.
Yeah.
I'm that's just not, I
That's
can't do
me.
that.
I want to know what people are saying.
You look, yeah.
Not
I
at
don't-
all.
I
There's
can't do
too
it.
many.
Well, probably
can't-
because he's young too, right?
I used to be. I think when I had a full-time job at the same time as content creation, because then I just still had my full-time job to go back to. But since now I don't work anymore full-time, so now it's like, well, if this doesn't perform, it might affect some other things that I'm trying to do in my life. So now I'm just like, I don't even look. You know what I do? I'm like telling everything. I'll click on the comment section in YouTube Studios and I'll just watch the comments, but I won't actually look at the analytics. Because if I'm having just a so-so day and the video, let's say YouTube.
All right, so for those of you that are content creators here, or you're interested in anything that has to do with marketing, that's actually a very, very smart idea, because the comments is obviously the conversation that people are having, and a lot of people get stuck in the numbers, you know, and the numbers, like something I tell all those guys all the time, right? Data, statistics, facts, they're lagging indicators. They don't really tell you in real time what is going on with whatever you're assessing. Okay? They're good to look at for different purposes. If you're looking at lagging indicators, like for me, I might look at 28 days, information to see how we're doing and to see if the numbers can tell me anything. The truth is that if you don't collect enough data, it's not really telling you anything. The best bet is what he just said, which is, hey, look at what people are actually talking about and get back to work and start creating more content around that, So we're talking YouTube stuff. We didn't get to the red pill stuff yet. I probably should be jumping to that. If they keep talking about this in 2 minutes, I'll jump to the meat. All right, let's keep going.
YouTube shadow ban some shit, which they absolutely do. They shadow ban certain videos because of the words in the video or the title or something on the thumbnail. So so I don't look at the particular comments. I don't look at the analytics, because if it's underperforming, it's gonna mess up my day.
Right.
If it's overperforming, it won't necessarily make my day better.
Exactly.
So I'm just like, just don't look till the next day, and that solves that.
Where it really gets tricky is when other content creators then start coming after you,
Do you Google your name? Do you like YouTube your name? You see, yeah, that's what
I just see the mentions.
I don't do that at all. My girlfriend Devin, she's a web wizard, SEO, all that good stuff. At some point, she has to do this because she has to look up my name to be able to do her
get
job.
you in there. Yeah.
Yeah, but after a while, she became proficient enough at it to the point to where she didn't really have to do that anymore. But she was still doing it. She's like, Donovan, I saw X. I'm like, Devin, quit reading the fucking comments.
Yeah.
Quit searching my name. You got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, man, the way I see it is this is.
Let me fast
like
forward.
I said,
They're
we all
talking
live
marketing
lives,
stuff
depending on
now.
What someone's intentions are, because
Let's keep going.
You mean they got their innards torn up by those?
I mean, okay.
Yes.
I mean, they have chased
Guts
after.
rearranged.
They have. They have chased after.
Back severed.
Yes,
Bottom
that
blown
too.
out.
But there's a difference. Like, I
Okay.
think that the delusional girls actually.
Okay, so we're getting to it
Do you
now.
think that the delusional girls actually believe the things they're saying when they say they want the guy with 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 inches?
Yes.
Because,
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm gonna just say something from my experience.
That's part of the problems. You see that affirmative yes coming? Right? That affirmative yes. Not the fact that it's just yes. Of course, people believe what they say, but the way that came so strong is like they couldn't wait, right? I'm going to nitpick, okay? Allow me. That's what this is a reaction video. So I might be nitpicking, but there's a good chance that I kind of know what I'm talking about. But that yes was like, yes, they believe it. And all right, let's keep
Experience
going.
doing the show. These girls will say they want these men, and that's true. They want what they want, but they have absolutely simped for men that were less than. Like absolutely. Like I have seen.
When you say simped,
Girls
you
don't
mean
simp.
they got
Oh,
their
Lord.
innards torn
Not
out
the
by
simp.
I
lesser
mean,
men.
okay.
Yes.
I mean, they have chased
Guts
after.
rearranged.
They have. They have chased after.
Back severed.
Yes,
Bottom.
that
blown
too.
out.
But there's a difference. Like a girl,
Stupid.
some girls can like if they're some girls can sleep with a guy and not be that into him or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you know when a guy has got a girl like hooked,
Yeah, of course,
right? You can just tell. So it's like a girl will come on my show and say I want this, this, and this, but I see the guy that she's dating or chasing after, and he's definitely not any of the things that she listed. Like maybe he's probably got one or two things, but it's like they'll say these super high standards, but it's not what they're like. I'm like, you haven't even met these men.
What modern women do is something that I like to call inverse projection. The way it works is when guys like us say, I want a bad bitch. She's got to have some nice titties, a matching ass, flat. She's got to, she's got to be all that. Well, what do women say? Oh my God, body positivity, beauty standards, blah, 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 blah. Well, and we as men, we have no problem letting people know what we want in women. But women always come after us for that. Well, women think that if they were honest about what they wanted, that we would also come after them. You understand what I mean? And so they give these politically correct answers because they don't want to look bad. It's just, to me, it's just a perception thing. When it really comes down to it, man.
All right, so they're not politically correct the way they're saying it. They are basically the wise ones understands that they need to learn the message. Whatever message you're trying to land, it's basically pointless and useless if you're not landing it. Right? It's not just politically correct. Like the politically correctness doesn't just exist because people want to pander. Right? There are some that pander, they get very obvious, we know them. You know them. No, maybe you don't know them. Because it almost seems like everything is pandering. If it's slightly politically correct or diplomatic, it sounds like pandering to you. But the truth, right? Let's talk about the truth, right? The reality, more so the reality is that if you don't land whatever your message is, no matter how true it is, if you don't land the message, it's pointless. You're just yarning nonsense. You're making noise. And the fact that you don't understand that as a grown man is problematic. So a lot of time when they say politically correctness, they're trying to say, let me talk anyhow. Let me just be blunt and not expect any consequences of that. No, it won't fly. It's 2023. It is what it is. You have to adjust your language accordingly to make sure your message lands. The words can change meanings too. That's the truth. Words will change meaning. Why? Because people are evolving, people use slangs and all that kind of stuff. And on the other end of the spectrum is not just slangs. It's just, hey, some things are being discovered as not appropriate. They don't make another person feel like a whole human being, even though they're human, right? And if the world is saying, hey, we got to adjust our language, you can sit there and pretend like you're just living in a cave. You don't live in a cave. The whole thing evolves. So it's not just political correctness. Let's keep on.
And girls want good-looking guys to blow their backs out. That's what it comes down to.
I agree with you, but I'm saying like a lot of the girls will say I want to date a guy that's worth 150K, 125K, 100 whatever it is, but they've never dealt with these men in their lives.
That's the delusion.
Yeah, so I'm like, why do you say these things if you've never had it?
Just because, well, in their minds, they can manifest it, right?
Why do you say you would like to bring traditional world back from 1960 if you're never going to have it again? Is that delusional? Is wishful thinking delusional? Is that always delusional? I guess you could call it that, right? Is it delusional to want 1960s type of women to come back? Right? People have the freedom to say what they want. The reality is that everyone's going to settle down. Not necessarily settle down for what they're worth in the marketplace. including you. If you don't settle down, you will have babies with baby mamas and you will end up in the court. And you will now have to learn everything you're refusing to learn, emotional intelligence from scratch all over again. In addition to the fact that you have to be dragged through the systems because you refuse to listen to the fact, the reality that the world is always evolving or devolving, your choice, whatever you want to call it, right? The world is moving, change is constant. Is that delusional? Like, listen, women have always wanted the best of the society. I think that's natural. Wanting is one thing, getting it is another thing. But he's going to tell us more. Let's keep going.
They can make. They can.
I'm so tired of the. I want to talk about this for a second. I am so tired of manifesting. You know what? I am the only girl that actually manifests things. I want to talk about this.
Can you talk about that TikTok thing?
Manifestation.
What TikTok?
You quit.
Oh, I quit my job after one TikTok.
yeah.
Well, I had a plan to quit, and then I quit 2 months
That's
later.
manifesting.
That's manifesting. I knew I would be good.
Pearl's
at
a
it.
modern woman.
I would
That's it.
never. I would never
Breaking.
say. I would never say. I would never say I manifested that because you work for it. If you want things, you work for it.
That's it.
And half of y'all are talking about manifesting. I'm like, what do you mean? You're just gonna dream it?
Yes. Yes.
You're gonna dream it, man. Why don't you
Dream
go
it,
try
see
to
it,
earn a
believe
man?
it.
Why don't you try to earn a man? Like, why don't you try to learn to cook, clean? Like, why don't you actually try to do things to get there?
Well,
instead
here's
of
the thing.
manifest?
Well, here's the thing. Even semi-attractive women, like, dude, American women live the best lives of any class of human that has ever existed.
That we do.
That is that's the bottom line. If you're a mildly attractive woman, you just kind of float through. Like, life is great if you are a mildly attractive woman. Women don't earn their attention. All they have to do is exist. So when guys,
All right, so that's not accurate. That's not accurate at all. There's a lot of attractive women suffering. Not lots, a lot. Majority of them have to go through life and pay their dues like the rest of us. Now, I get it. There's a context here. But that context is exactly what they don't want to point out for the most part, which is, hey, we're talking about romance. We're talking about kerewa. We're talking about relationship between man and woman. But they like to choose and pick when they want to bring that into the picture. If we're talking about romance, it's true. Like an attractive woman in society, yeah, they will attract more men that will approach them more than, more than men would, more than an average man would. Well, that's just the reality. Do you want to switch positions? I don't understand why that. Okay, maybe they will tell us later. But a lot of time, for the most part, I'm like, wait, what's the purpose of bringing that up? Like, yeah, she gets a lot more dick pic than you. You want dick pic? Which one? But let's keep going.
when people like us tell them, hey, you have to do X, Y, and Z, they're feeling some type of way about it because in their minds, why should I have to work for something that I already get for free?
Yeah,
That's
but
why
they don't. But they don't get it for free because they don't actually deal with these men.
Oh, you're talking about the high earning
Finally.
guys? Well, there's a big difference. They don't understand the difference between sex market value and relationship market value. Just because a rapper or athlete pounded you out doesn't mean that they want to commit to you. Women mistake sexual attraction for
No,
relationship.
I get that, but I'm saying like these
He's
girls
missing
aren't
the
even
point.
dealing with like they're
They're
not
not
even
dealing
getting
with them.
sex from the guys that make because I'll see the guy that they're hooked on, and I'm like, this is a rapper from down the street.
Right.
Like this is not.
I think maybe
he's not 6'2", he's 5'8".
Well,
Like,
they want to be seen as having high standards. Is
Yeah.
what they want to
Yes,
see.
yeah.
Yeah. No woman is going to say, well, I want the.
No, you don't get it. Stop trying to explain what you don't understand. You deal with Devon, your 40-year-old woman who is a baby mama and all of that. Stop trying to explain what you... Listen, this guy is like damn near 50 years old or so, maybe 45. You have no experience, bro. Zero experience. And you keep trying to explain what you don't understand that you haven't no experience with. You know, this is why a lot of them are the blind leading the blind. He keeps trying to explain. If you notice MTR sitting next to him, it's not saying a lot. That tells me a lot. That tells me a lot. The fact that MTR is sitting next to him and he's not saying a lot unless it's actually brought in or he's throwing a little banter here and there. It's so serious. It can't. He doesn't like. This girl is laughing so much. Saying like, listen, these chicks, they don't. Majority of them don't deal with this type of people you are accusing them with. They might dream about it. They're supposed to. People want to be with celebrities. Even men want to hang around celebrities. But of course, anything to justify the BS. Let's keep going.
The average man, right?
Yeah.
Average, and this is where the disconnect is with men and women.
The guys are above average in some category.
Sure.
I will say, usually.
Unfortunately, the average woman believes that she is entitled to above average men. That's why. And again,
What's the problem with that? It's just a belief, right? The average man believe one day they can become a millionaire. No, well, maybe not average, but a lot of men believe one day they become a millionaire. There's nothing wrong with that, right? The only time something becomes wrong with that is maybe okay. There's certain respect where something could be wrong with that. That's when if they start to overuse their resources in that direction and it's just not happening. You're just not that guy, right? If you're burning up your family resources trying to be a millionaire, at some point, hopefully by 40, somebody will say, hey, bro, get a job, right? The same thing for a young lady who says, I want to be married to Elon Musk, at some point, reality kicks in. There's nothing wrong with that. These are normal human behavior. But you're using it to justify the agenda. Agenda must agenda, huh? Anyway.
They don't want to look bad in front of their girlfriends. Well, I really want a guy that makes 65K and is 5'9". They're gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about, girl? You're a 10. You should be able to." No.
What do you? Oh my gosh, that's what they did to me on Saucecast.
Really?
Because they asked what my minimum salary requirement was. What do you think I should say to that?
I don't know. 70K.
What?
65 or 70K.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think I should say to that?
I think I would say 65 to 70.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So how'd they get on you for that?
They were saying like you need it to be higher. Like, girl, like that's low. I'm like,
The girl said that?
yeah, the girls on the show said that.
Yes.
So that's what
But
I'm
you
saying.
see-
Yeah.
You see?
Well,
Like,
but
oh my
you know
God,
the
you're
numbers
doing-
break down.
Yeah, I know.
You know the numbers break down, top 10% man.
Oh, yeah.
da-da-da, 'cause
Yeah,
the
yeah,
top
yeah.
10% man should be getting the top 10%.
Well, the reality is that when a chick finds somebody that she really likes, right? This kind of talk gets on the back burner. Okay, now it depends. Okay, it depends on persons to person. Some people, certain type of people, maybe not person to person, but certain types or groups of people. Obviously, if they're generally speaking, if they do well, like much better than $100,000 a year, generally speaking, they naturally would not want to deal with anything lower than that. That's normal human brain, right? That doesn't mean they can't find themselves falling in love with the person making much less. Maybe that person is overcompensating in so many other areas. But when that happens, is when we find out. And it's usually one-offs that you can't collect data. When you start collecting data, you see that most people want to be with persons that they make more money with, that make more money than them, or at least in terms of status, they're in a better status. That's part of the hypergamy, right? But this is normal human behavior. But again, when we start to talk about it, we start to talk about it like that's actually what's happening. What's happening is that when it gets down to it, when they find somebody that they truly like, sometimes they overcompensate in other area and they settle. Everyone settle down, okay? Some people call it settling. No, it's not settling. You get what you're worth in the marketplace, in the dating marketplace, all the time. But also, you have to consider that holistically. There are many things that goes with that. At least this 6 goes with that, right? But usually, no one is considering any of these 6 or any of the emotional needs of human beings. They're only talking pragmatic, obvious, tangible stuff. But that's not real life. That's fantasy. In real life, emotional stuff takes the lead. Everything else is lagging indicator. Keep going.
That woman.
Yeah.
That's how the numbers should work out, but it doesn't seem like that is because we just have so much information around or surrounded around decades of this women's empowerment, women's liberation shit, which then they conclude that they are a 10, even though they are Lizzo sized.
I was saying that. I was like, Why I never thought I'd date a like guy that makes six figures. I never really thought about it because most of the time you're dating guys your age, so it's like.
And your question is what blew Kevin Samuels up. Because
Yeah, man.
before there was that content, nobody would believe the amount of delusion that
Yes.
existed in the modern woman today.
right.
But for him to be able in live 3D
my
dispel the bullshit,
Live.
he's a master with it.
Dude, unscripted, like he was like 385,000 and oh.
So this is the platform where I say the delusion is across the board. Yes, there is delusion. It's across the board. When men start to ask for women to come back from the 1960s so they can marry them, but when men start to actually group a certain type of women as the traditional women, that's delusion. There's no such thing as a traditional woman. We're all modern people in modern times. Some people have traditional values that they appreciate or that they tend to, little things here and there. But the ultimate truth of the matter is that if you're watching me right now, you're a modern person because you're watching me from a phone. And you're probably working at the same time, listening on the side, right? And your job allows you to do that. And they have different ways, modern ways of measuring your productivity. Delusion of grandeur is across the board. So it's affecting everything. I know it's easy from one side to pick on the other side and say, hey, this one is delusional. Well, and the delusion is affecting everything. Yes, it's going to affect a decline in population growth particularly. Yeah. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on what angle you're looking at it from. But anyway, let's keep going.
Like he had, he had like Super Hot Fire's record, right? Like his rap battle record. The disconnect, unfortunately, is that most men are sexually invisible to most women.
Yeah.
And so when you ask women questions like, who do you think cheats more, men or women? They say, well, men cheat more. Well, whether you think they do or not is whether you think they do or not doesn't matter. They're only thinking about the top 10%
Right.
of men, and so that's how they.
That's false. Most men are sexually invisible to women. All right. So I don't have any. I understand what he's saying. Okay, there might be some truth to it. Like I always say, there's some truth to some of the things they talk about, but they're not. That reality is not designed to battle for. It's not designed for battle between the genders. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't mean to do. I'm just saying no, but you're saying nothing. It's always been that way because there are other aspects of life where most women are also invisible to men. Listen, this thing is balanced. It's fair, and this always trying to paint a picture like it's not fair goes back to personal. It's personal, but if you watch yesterday's show, you know we reviewed this. You know that this guy that's talking, everything is personal anyway. But he's going to tell us more. Let's keep going.
View dating through their scope. It's only the top 10% of men. That's why they have the delusion.
That blew my mind. The 2080 rule blew my mind when I got
Pareto
into
principle?
Red. Yeah, they're like,
It's probably a little more skewed now.
It probably is, but even 2080, I was like, we only look at 20% of men.
Yeah.
It's not even
And then
that high.
when they found out, because I'm tall, right?
Yeah.
That's always.
So looking at being attracted from a sexual physical standpoint to just 20% of the other gender, that's actually true across the board. Okay. All right. Now, let's be honest. Okay, a lot of men will sleep with anything. Okay, so that can you can easily call that sexual attraction. Their sexual attraction is internal. They have punji. They have to get rid of it, right? They don't. From a visual standpoint, yes, it's not the same thing as a woman or man, or they're not the same thing. But again, if you're a woman complaining about men in this respect, say you want to become a man, are you sure that's what you want? If you're a man complaining about women in this respect, are you saying you want to become the other gender? Because there are actually people who authentically want to be that. Okay? And they have ways around that these days. It's 2023. Right? But there's a chance if you're complaining about this, that's not what you want to be. You're resenting some experiences you've had. And you're not coming forth and telling us the truth. I understand. Because it's that personal. You have to bring other people into it. Other people must feel the way you feel before you can feel better. I get it. But that's not going to solve your problem because it's internal, it's personal. Anyway,
First thing people say when they meet me. And I'm like 6 foot roughly. And so I've always gone for guys like roughly my height or taller. I didn't realize that was 15% of men.
Yeah, yeah.
Pearl, I gotta ask the question.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
You're over 6 foot. Are you over 6 foot or
No, I'm
5'11"?
not.
5'11"?
I'm wearing heels. I'm 5'11" and a half.
You're taller than the average man.
she's 6 foot. A 6 foot woman, that's a lot in there. But let's leave that alone. Let's keep going.
The half matters. You're taller than the average man. You make more money than the average
You
man.
do.
Do you settle?
I mean, what else am I supposed to do? Die alone? like
Buy a dog.
Like,
And then,
You won't be alone with the dog. No.
but you're right. Listen, facts are facts.
You're not supposed to have the mindset that you're going to settle. As a mindset. If that's what they mean by delusional, you need to be exactly delusional. You need to think of yourself as the best in the marketplace. It comes off as confidence, and you will attract what you will attract. The best for you, not necessarily the way you thought about it. Because again, reality kicks in for everyone, regardless, at some point. But in terms of a healthy mindset, you're not supposed to be thinking less of yourself. What am I supposed to do? Just settle. That's what happens when you keep listening to those spaces too much. You start to internalize the idea that maybe you're delusional. Maybe you should tone down your standards a little bit. You know, if you feel like you need to tone down your standards, you want to make sure you assess that properly. Make sure this is not a confidence issue. Because if you lack confidence, you will create terrible results. Nobody wants to do anything with anybody that doesn't feel good of themselves. You want to make sure that it's not just confidence, that you're not tampering with confidence, or that your confidence level is not being tampered with. Is it possible to be delusional? Yes. But if you're getting that signal from listening to too much YouTube rhetorics, you need to assess that properly. Because I'm telling you, people can smell it on both sides. They can smell it if you lack confidence, and that's not anything that anybody wants to be around. It doesn't matter how big your YouTube channel gets, you'll just be single. If that's not what you want, especially. Because again, nobody wants to rock with that in that sense. So, but again, a lot of these guys are talking straight up from just data only, statistics only, nothing real life. They're speaking from this place of fantasy, of creating the flip side of what the data is saying. And they're coming up with mathematical solutions that does not involve the biggest variable, emotions. Yeah, that math will end up in Porto very fast. Let's keep going.
And I said this a long time ago. Myron puts it much more
Yeah.
succinctly. The more money, clout, status a woman makes, the further she shrinks her pool of potential suitors.
I was just having fun.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Sorry, I'm good at YouTube.
It is.
Well,
what
you
it
quit the
is.
master's degree. At least that one won't hold you back.
We'll see, sort of.
Oh.
So you want to go back to the?
No, I don't
indoctrination.
want to. I might need a visa. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just.
Oh, got it.
Oh my God.
I didn't care about the masters.
Oh.
I think school makes you dumber, actually. I almost respect men more that didn't go to school. They tend to be smarter. No offense.
Wow.
Was it a sociology or psychology?
Oh, yeah, because okay, but the story behind the psychology degree was the English volleyball gave me a scholarship for school. So I wanted to go play. That was all I cared about. And so I was like, I want a major that's easy.
There
and
it
all
is.
the psych
That's modern women.
all
Right.
all the-
Makes no money.
because I didn't care about it. I was trying to make money playing
She's
sport.
quitting after one
There it
TikTok
is.
video.
That's it.
Holy moly,
Yeah,
she's
look,
modern.
I'm
the shortcut.
the only girl that manifests.
That's right. Manifest girl.
So I was trying to think because I didn't care about the degree. I just like it was free, right?
Yeah.
It was school like volleyball. So it was. I mean, it wasn't free. It was cheap. Let's just say.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I'm like, well, I could get my master's degree. I want to get it in something that's easy. And I was like, all the psychology students in undergrad had the easiest. I was economics. So I had a real major for undergrad.
Okay.
Yeah. But then I did post grad. I was like, I'm not trying to work that hard. This degree did nothing. I was like, this is like what did it get?
Lie about your body count. Lie here, and
Open to it. You don't have like a special.
Let's
Boo
not.
boo
Let's
Kachu?
not. Let's
Uh-oh.
not. Let's not.
Wait a minute. Oh.
Breaking.
Either way, like I said, and the reason why I think you're going to be engaged by the end of the year, and you said it was funny. We had this conversation. You said you didn't realize your market value until you talked to Kevin, right?
Yeah, that's
you know what I
true.
mean. Most American modern women, they have tattoos. A lot of them have children out of wedlock. A lot of them have exorbitant body counts, et cetera, et cetera. You don't appear to have any of those things. And I'll tell you this, let's just say in some alternate universe that you had a 75 body count. There is precious little evidence of
75.
that in
Jesus
front of us.
Christ.
I say all the time, never, dude, ladies, lie about your body count. Lie your ass off. But if you tell a guy that you've banged 7 guys, you better act like you've banged 7 guys. You can't say, well, I've got a body count of 7, and then you're posting pictures of you on a yacht on Instagram. Those don't work. But that's the reason why I'm sure that you're going to.
How about don't talk to a guy that's asking you about your body count? How about that part? Right? How about if he's asking about your body count? The problems are bigger than just body counts. How about that part? Right? Just lie. Now you're teaching people to just lie. Just lie. If you feel the need to lie, the problems are bigger than those numbers. Jesus Christ.
About your body count. Lie your ass off.
Lie. Jesus Christ. Who advises people to lie? Outrightly lie. Jesus.
But if you tell a guy that you've banged 7 guys, you better act like you've banged 7 guys. You can't say, well, I've got a body count of 7, and then you're posting pictures of you on a yacht on Instagram. Those don't work. But that's the.
But the problem with that is that when you start to judge these people from your mindset standpoint, you'll be judging them with your filters, your filthy filters. So even if she says she banged 7 people, if you already believe that most girls are banging 75 people, you're going to believe what you're going to believe. The problems are bigger. Jesus Christ.
Reason why I'm sure that you're going to be engaged.
Engaged by the. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's why I got trust issues. They're
What?
just gonna just lie to me.
Dude, I don't want to.
You see why MTR is much more of a normal human being than this guy, than Donovan Sharp? Right? First of all, brotherly, you have to work on your trust issues, but you keep saying that what he just said is only normal that enough young men listening to you will have trust issues. If you end up in a relationship where you have trust issues, what's the point? If you're gonna head into a relationship with trust issues, don't you think it's better to stay single? This is where one of my buddies on Clubhouse, he will say marriage is a scam. I say yes, it is, because if you think it's a scam, you probably should stay away from it. Right? Some people say, but I'm trying to avoid the conversation. No, I'm not trying to avoid the conversation. You've made up your mind. That wasn't a question. That was an assertive statement.
I don't want to. I told you guys. We were having this conversation off the air. I was like, do you know how many guys my girlfriend Devin has slept with? We will never, ever know. I don't want to know. I don't care to know.
They always divide by 2.
Who talks about their girlfriend or their wife like this? Right? What do you think is going on in that relationship? Never mind what they put on YouTube. What do you think is going on in that relationship? If you start to think beyond what you see, right? If you know for a fact that there's always behind the scenes stuff, and there's signals to tell you, if you work on yourself, that to give you a good idea of what's going on behind the scenes. If you are with a girlfriend long term that you feel like they've banged, not only does it creep through your mind, but you tend to say it out to how many people are watching this video. What do you think is going on in that relationship?
When you think of when you think,
you better multiply that by 17.
I mean, I feel like men are like practical, so it's kind of like, what is a guy gonna do? Like, spend his time asking questions that like.
No.
Yeah, then that's the thing.
All right, so just for things, just in case you or anybody who would think like you watches this video, most men that are in your audience are actually more delusional than the rest of the world. They are the minority of people, and they are delusional. And they will never get what they're asking for because what they're asking for is inside and they're looking outside. Okay, just want to put that out there real quick. The same thing goes for you, MTR, and Donovan Sharp. Most of the people in your audiences are delusional.
You have to observe and see. This is what guys don't do. We say modern women are lazy. Men are lazy too. There's not a series of questions that you can ask women that's going to give you information about her body count, because she is going to lie.
Yeah, but the issue is not that. You see, I just said, oh, thank God he said something that makes sense. But then the angle just went left completely, right? Is this obsession with the body count, the obsession with the body count. If you're not able to pick up whatever security you're looking for without the explicit body count number, your problems are bigger. Okay? That's the kind of woman you're attracting. That's on you. If you have to ask her explicitly or have these conversations explicitly, you're still going to get finessed. And then you'll come back and justify it and start talking about your girlfriend to the public that they have this number of body counts. As a woman, would you feel safe with the person who is just out there talking about your body count? Like, I know she. Anyway, let's keep going. this guy.
Women always lie. Here's another thing.
Women always lie. Okay. So what is the ideal that their audience is looking for? A woman that doesn't lie, right? What is it that they're going to keep seeing in every woman that they see? A person that lies. Because their guru have been telling them that women always lies, right? Like, there's nothing else to look for. So there's doubt casted everywhere that no, she must be lying to me. Not only just about body count, even about the fact that she's only seeing me. Even about the fact that she's not seeing somebody else. What happens when you get into a relationship with a man who is insecure, regardless if he admits it or not? What happens? You can answer yourself. You don't have to answer me, because I'm actually working and
asking these questions. Women know what you're getting at. What men have to do, one thing that men have that women do not, we have more of the luxury of time. A lot of guys, after 6 months, okay, so she's great in the sack, she's got a great body and this, not the other, she's wifey material. No, bruh, you need to vet women for no less than 12 months. And
let me say shout out to my people here. Mario, good to see you. We're just testing something out. We'll see how it goes. If the numbers are terrible, they will kill everything else we have that's going good. So I won't keep doing it, just so you know. But I'm just having fun testing something out. But welcome, you're welcome. She was on a Vice panel about feminism, and her take there explains why he's comfortable kicking with misogynist. Yeah, exactly. I remember the one you're talking about. Yeah, she's definitely a panderer. But she's young too, so I kind of give them some pass on this kind of behavior. Like, she's literally like less than 25, something like that. Good to see you, Marriott. Let's keep going.
And then at that point, if you're paying attention, you have the right knowledge, then you might be able to accurately, and it's not even about, naming her body count. Is she a hoe or not? That's what it comes down to.
Do you guys agree with the phrase, it's not about the number, but the number of alphas that she's been with? Because that's what Rolo talks about a lot. Like, so he'll always, this is the example he gives.
It's another stupid
You know what? I
talking
agree with
point.
this.
There's a girl with a 5 body count, but one was Michael B. Jordan, one was Jason Momoa. There's no coming back from that. She's done. Even at 2, 5, whatever it is. Where it's like if a girl has, I don't know, 20, but they're all less than you. Like, it's all about being the best that a girl has had.
Bingo.
Do you think that's
100% true?
I think both still matter. If she's been with 100 different dudes, I don't want it anyway.
So it's not that body count doesn't matter. It's the obsession with body count that's actually much more dangerous. Okay? The obsession. Whatever that means to you, if you're obsessed with body count, is because you're trying to overcompensate for your lack of discernment spirit. Okay? You're trying to overcompensate for the fact that you lack the game to be able to pick up certain things without explicit information. Explicit information, again, they tend to be lagging indicators. Not body count, but like everything else where you will use the same attitude or mindset in life, right? if you need an explicit number to be able to say that this one is for the street, that's your problem. Your problem is much bigger than this girl's body count, because if she's belong to the street, she belongs to the street. But you need an explicit number, or to discuss it. It's such an obsessive level. Your problem is bigger. But if you don't believe that, I'll wait. I'm very patient. Okay. I waited long enough to hear Donovan Sharp's story, and we saw it yesterday. So, but I'll wait. I'll be here. Okay.
I mean, at 100, like.
If a girl, to me, it's a matter of probability. If a girl,
Yeah,
if a girl has banged 100 guys, trust me, there's gonna be some above average sausages in that rotation.
Good to see you, Quincy.
It is about the number and the size, but again, it's probabilities. If I found, let's just say that I found out.
Let me see. Good to see you, Quincy. Quincy said, it's crazy how people can see through Pearl. I see her as the Vlad TV of the Manosphere. Yeah. Quincy, are you a guy? I think Quincy is a guy. Pearl has a wife school channel. Yeah, that's a whole joke, And by the way, Afiz Balku is a Yoruba brother who engaged this young lady. Afiz wasn't ready for that conversation. Afiz should stop having this kind of conversations. If it's going to be all about data, statistics, all this kind of stuff will fall flat on the face all the time, because they are lagging indicators. You can't compete with those people that have made up their mind. They can find angles in those data, statistics they'll just drag you for no reason, okay? You need to be able to elevate it beyond that, Thank you, Jared. Quiz, my guy. Good to see you. She ain't got no husband. Yeah, we kind of know. So a lot of it is talking out of no experience. That's understandable, but dangerous, because a lot of men are too vulnerable or too impressionable to really start to believe this stuff. Also, she's young and taking advantage of dummies. I understand now. She'll make money. Oh, she's making mad money. 1 million subscribers in a short period of time too. So I'm not mad at that part at all. Thank you, Jerry. Nice to see you too. Thank you. All right, let's keep going.
Devin with Ken Jeong, right? I wouldn't be tripping. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't trip. I really wouldn't.
Who?
Ken Jeong, the guy from Hangover, the Asian guy, yeah. If I
shit. That goes back to our first conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
So funny.
If she said, I have a confession to make, I had a thing with Ken Jeong. I'm not tripping. Who's
But you would trip if she said, I had a thing with Ola of Men of Prestige. You see, Wala? Yeah. You see the problem here? Why should you ever be bothered about the past of a person you've chosen to spend your life with? This is insecurity at best. I know they don't like to call it that. You want to cover all your bases just to make sure. This is not baseball. That's why you will continue to have problems. Right? And this is a person that's going to teach people how to do their relationship. How good do you think that would turn out? All right? Let's keep going.
Think of a celebrity, like if you were dating a girl, think of a celebrity that your girl confirmed that she smashed that you wouldn't care. Think about that. Not The Rock, okay? Not The Rock, not Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, no.
I don't know. I've dealt with a couple of girls in the past that have been around celebrities and have messed with celebrities. And I think at the point that I hear that, I'm like, oh, she's for the streets. Yeah. Like I had this one young lady that I met her in a mall. This had to be over 10 years ago. And, so real pretty, got her back to the crib, sitting, vibing, talking. And then she proceeds to tell me that she was on tour with Plies.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, what? Are you talented? Like, did he have you as like the second runner? Like, what talent? Are you rap?
What are we doing?
She was like, no. I was like, oh, God. Now, obviously at that particular junction, I'm like, okay, she's for the streets, and she was strictly for recreational use only. You know what I'm saying? So like, but I haven't really thought about the alpha.
So if certain lifestyle doesn't make you feel comfortable, let's say somebody say, hey, she's an actress, I'm not comfortable with that. There's nothing wrong with that, because that's like up there, like the obvious. They're going to mingle with other people. They're going to be on the set. There's going to be producers, especially in Nigeria. that will assume that they can just flirt with people just because they are TV people, you know. I can rock with that if you don't feel safe, but the first step is to acknowledge that you're the one that don't feel safe. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But if you turn that to a talking point and say all people are like, it's not just that you're right, because you could be right. It's also that this is you. You tend to generalize and you will do it in your personal relationship as well. And it will bite you in the butt. So it's not enough to be right. That's one thing that a lot of people in the manosphere and the red pill community are right, because they're pulling up data and they're interpreting it based on their filters, right? So you can't tell them they're wrong, because honestly, that would be you being wrong. However, are they going to always create good outcome? Actually, I will bet that because they tend to gravitate in this direction often with respect to romantic relationships, they will create terrible outcome. Because the whole idea of romantic relationships and marriage especially is a journey of faith. You can't have faith if you're all over the place looking for evidence that the whole world is out to get you. It's a very hard thing to do. Damn near impossible.
Widow thing to that extent of like it being a certain height, length, width of a dude, and I usually don't go into that type of thought, but like
I don't think it's about like the alone though. It's like
It's not.
it's got to be a lot of
no.
other-
It's like she has to view you as the best that she could do. So like I feel like she has to view you as the like the best out of her exes, basically.
Yeah, that's who you're competing with. And I remember Tate said
That's very false. That's very false. A normal human being, if you're capable of attracting normal people, if you're not attracting toxic people from the, slay mama on the internet who is always posting to be on a yacht with Drake, if that's not what you're attracting or what you're chasing after, if you're attracting normal people, it's how they feel in that moment. It's purely emotions. The idea that they're actively measuring you against their ex is something that you're saying they're being cerebral about this experience. Is human beings in general, not even just women, are not capable of that. Men, including this guy who admitted to falling in love with somebody that was obviously for the street, right? When they fall in love, they're not that pragmatic. It's unrealistic expectations of yourself. How much more another human being entirely? And this is what you get when you listen to advice from a Pearl. Pearl claims she's not advising anybody, but that's precisely what her actions are doing. Okay? It's a highly influential person. 1 million subscribers. They'll be your mate.
this. He said this on your show, and I'll sort of double it back to this. Women, and this will sound crazy, but women you can take a woman's virginity in so many ways. You can take it sexually, but we know that most guys are never going to take a woman's virginity.
Quincy says, I don't think none of these people are truly interested in building healthy relationships. Of course not. Now, there's two ways to look at that, right? They're not capable of building healthy relationships. So they definitely can't teach anyone how to build healthy relationships. Are they interested? I think they might have been in a place where they really wanted to build one, they just don't know how to. And they've ended up in terrible relationships. Like all this stuff is coming out of experience. These are personal. There's a lot of personal story in their rhetorics. You just have to wait long enough, sometimes years, before you can get those, before you can get the truth out of them. And sometimes it's very quick, in 3-4 months. Like someone like what's his name, Holloman, Austin Holloman. In a few months, he's fell on his face. But a lot of time you have to wait long enough because the toxin is just that deep, right? But I don't think it's complete lack of interest in building a relationship. I think on a personal level, they would have loved to know how to. So instead of engaging proper healthy way of doing this, they basically look at their experience. They found enough people that can relate with them. They create an echo chamber, and they just concluded like, no, it just has to be the fault of everything else but self. That's what's going on. Now, with the building of all these big platforms, pride will creep in, and you're like, I feel like I'm telling the truth. I'm just saying the facts, right? So they can. It becomes very impossible to be able to listen to anything else. But yeah, I love how Pearl makes it clear she's doing this all for entertainment. Exactly. See, that's young people. Don't let me say it like that, right? But the kind of chick she is, at some point she's going to like back out and be like, yo, and the first step is that wife school thing you talked about. She's trying to see if she can help, but she's you can't. That's why this is the journey of faith. You have to be in the game. You have to engage the game. You have to, practice and get good and get better. And with experience, you become wiser. There's only so much you can get out of reading a textbook or listening to somebody's experience. That's basically not none, almost none. Just listen to them talk. They barely give any real life examples, right? Shout out to Victoriously Vicky. Good to see you. Let's keep going.
Right? But you can take her virginity as far as an experience is concerned. For example, my girlfriend Devin, she's never been out of the country. The first time we leave the country, will be the first time she's left the country. She's never stayed in a $2,000 a night Vegas hotel suite. She's never like it gives me great pleasure to know
So let me let him finish. I'll let him
that
finish.
this appears to be the first time that she's done these things. Just like Tate said, men, we want to be the first to give certain experiences to a girl. That way she doesn't have anything else to compare it to.
We value innocence.
Bang, there
and
you go,
and
man.
to a degree,
Yes.
it's like ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
Because they don't. That's why they say, like, the more sexual partners that she has, the more likely that a divorce is going to
Yes.
happen.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I don't.
Before MTR talks, this is some of the problems right here. What they just said right here. You see, they said it. There's some truth to it, but it was completely disconnected from the emotional experience that the parties are having and the feelings, right? And like I said, that's the only thing that matters, feelings, right? Does a woman want to feel like she's having an experience with you for the first time? Yes, because that's why she's stimulated. That's why she's excited about the idea of having an experience with you the first time, right? Does a man want to feel feelings that she's giving you an experience for the first time? Yes, of course. Because a man is a human being. They have emotions too, not just anger, but they have emotions too. They like to feel like the man. They're right about that part. The part that they're wrong about is this idea that is just uh, purely everything else outside of emotions, right? She wants to have the experience with you. It's going to be that experience that she might have had. She's having it with you for the first time. It doesn't matter if she's been to the Maldives. She's going to Maldives for the first time with you, and she's having a good time. She's gonna be less busy saying, "I've seen that before. I've seen that before." No, she's having that experience with you, and if you're not confident as a man that this is precisely how it works, this is why you end up being another person pushing nonsense throughout the internet. Everything. No one cares about anything outside of their feelings. No one. These are the issues. Yes, a man would like to give you an experience for the first time. Do we value innocence? No. We value the feeling of innocence, the feelings of it. Right? That's all that matters. So if you keep looking, let's just imagine keep looking all over the place for, I want only a girl who has never been to Greece before. Like, that's just stupid and a waste of your energy, and particularly your emotional energy, because either you realize it or not, your emotional energy is engaged in all of this stupid assessment.
I don't know. I never thought about strictly from a perspective, but it makes sense for the other things. Like, if she's telling me she's been all around the world,
Yeah.
where can I take her now?
Right.
You know what I mean?
If she tells me she's eaten at all the best restaurants,
What do you get?
You bring her into your world. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Okay? For those who say there's no such thing as game, you see, these are the issues. These are the issues. This is lack of game. Okay? This is lack of game. You bring her into your world and you take her wherever you want. It doesn't matter if she's been there before. If she's not having a good time, there are bigger issues. You say, no, I've been there. I don't want to go there. Well, maybe she had a terrible experience there. That shouldn't be a big deal. Oh, but I want to go there. Okay, we could go. A girl that's really into you will be open to that. Will be okay with that, and you should be okay with that. And if you're not okay with that because Donovan Sharp said, "Oh yeah, I should feel insecure about myself if I'm not the one taking her on our first private jet ride," that's just terrible. That's lack of game. Okay, that's lame behavior, and that's why you're struggling. That's why you're relating so much with this type of content. Okay, it's insecurities is deep inside. You don't feel enough. You don't feel like you're that much of an experience. You don't feel like the prize. You do say that you're the prize, but that idea is disconnected from your mouth and your face. That's a big problem.
I think so. If I've done those things with my father, is it different?
It is very different.
Oh yeah, that's way different. That's
I
way
remember
different.
she said, yeah, when I was, I went to Dubai, and then she said, wait a minute, hold on, cameraman, with my parents. I went to Dubai with my parents.
I just need to like clarify.
Yeah,
'cause-
Yeah,
what
man,
you do in
she thought
Dubai
herself.
with your pops is gonna be different than what you do in Dubai with who you're in a relationship with.
Because sometimes I'll tell stories. I'll be like, yeah, I was at box seats the other day. Wait, with dad. with dad.
I mean, look at a Pearl, right? Does she look like the kind of person that wants to be in a romantic like this? This girl is just someone's homie. She's like the homie. I'm sorry. Somebody will fall in love with her, and I think she had an ex-boyfriend too that was a black man. All of that doesn't mean anything, but she's more like someone's homie. That's why she's having such a good time hanging out with men. She will end up at McDonald's. She will end up in the friend zone every time. Every time. I'm sure she's told that story somewhere where she ended up, because she's the kind of girl that tells the truth as she sees it too, right? She has like a masculine brain inside of her head. Oh yes, I just said it. Okay. See, she's not talking from her feelings. She sees things as they are, but that disconnects us from the human experience. We need a balance between the two. Just imagine a world where everybody's just walking around being pragmatic and see it as it is and say it as it is, right? Then it becomes pointless. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Yes.
But I don't know. I didn't know if that, because technically he can't do a first experience.
It makes a big difference, because going to Dubai with your father, clearly, like you said, is very, very different from going with someone that you are dating. Your father giving you all of these experiences are very, very good, but I don't think that works against you as far as the.
Yes, based on everything you said before, it worked against her. And I think when she was on the other podcast with Valuetainment, the Suscast people, I think she said it actually worked against her. I'm not sure if I remember that very well. Quincy says, my wife went to the Bahamas many times, but when she went with me, she had a better experience. Exactly. Right? Not only just because with you know that every time you go to the same spot, you can create a whole brand new experience. This is lack of game. That's what it is. Nothing else. Okay?
Context is concerned. Not a chance.
Okay, I was just making sure.
I'll never forget the first video that I uploaded up on the channel. It was an AMS reaction, and I had a young lady down from Miami visiting me, and I didn't know anything about like camera framing or anything like that. And so she was actually sitting up higher than me because her stool was a little bit higher. One of the top comments from the dudes that were down up in there was, I was a short bitch who shouldn't be talking about it. Now, mind you, this is the first time, the whole space had not seen reactions with women.
Like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah. But but she looked taller than me in the thing. So I think it's a big thing for women, but I actually think for guys as well, for much different reasons.
I think the reason why women to me, it's a biological thing. A guy who is taller, guys who are taller are generally larger for the most part. It's a protection thing, The first thing that Devin told me when we started dating, she's like, I like that you make me feel small.
So at this point in 2023, is no longer just a protection thing. It's a primal thing. Okay? Like stop It's like just stop it altogether. It doesn't mean that. Hold on a second. It doesn't mean that an average girl doesn't want a tall guy when they're young. It doesn't mean that, okay? But it's a primal. It's not a protect. You're not protecting nobody because you're tall. That's just again, only lame people will like listen to this kind of stuff and continue to regurgitate it, right? Yes, it's a prim. At this point, it's a primal thing, okay? All right. And most normal human beings, if they find themselves in some kind of crisis, they know for a fact that it's possible that that shorter guy may end up protecting them faster or more effectively than the tall lame. Okay? Listen, I have empathy for experience that some men have had. I get it. You're short, you're not attracting women, and you feel like it's because you're short, fat, and ugly. I get it. I understand. Okay. But the solution is not to go around and generalize based off of 200,000 years age old information. At this point, it's a primal thing. It's not a protective thing. Yes, a woman will like the idea that you can carry her. She feels like she's protected. It's a feeling. You can't drown yourself in that. Okay, there are other ways, other gifts that you have that you might use to overcompensate for that. Everybody has some kind of gift. Can the numbers work against you? Yes, if you start regurgitating it and you sit in it and start looking at the numbers like this, yes, it will harm you. But could you back off that number a little bit and maybe re-engage yourself and say, hey, I'm valuable. I'm the price. I bring value. This is insecurity issues at best.
Okay, and I will say, as someone, I probably have more tall friends than anyone.
Yes.
I,
Because of the sports.
yeah. So I had a girl in high school, 6'5".
Woo!
That I
Big lady.
There's one of my good friends is 6'3".
Mm.
I have other girls it's like 5'5" is short for my friend group. The average height of a girl, like that is short.
That is-
Everyone I know is like, my roommate's 5'9", 5'10". Like it's so height is important unless you're muscular.
We had this conversation. Yes.
That at like. We'll go down. We won't go down too far.
Okay.
We won't go down
so where's
too
the floor?
far.
Where's the floor?
For
Where's
me,
the floor for
for
Rip Guy?
me? I'm 5'11" and a half. So probably 5'9". If he's like good looking, like strong, like that's probably okay. Like 5'9".
Maybe he's wider than he is tall, right?
Yeah. So it's like, but I've talked to the girls on my team about this. It's like if they're jacked, it's like it makes up for the height, which is
Okay.
I don't know. I know that's superficial. I'm just
No,
being honest.
no.
I'm just
Don't
being
say
honest.
that. No. That's not superficial. It's biological. There's a reason.
No, she's right. It's superficial shit, and it's worse that you're saying that's biological. It's not biological, right? In fact, what you're about to say is not biological, and I will bet it's not biological. Let's see.
Why men are attracted to women with large
5'10", I lied.
breasts. It's already going up. It's already logical. There's a reason why men are attracted to women with large
5'10", I lied.
breasts. It's already going up. It's already going up. She's like, wait a minute.
5'10", I lied. Sorry.
But those are genetic. Like height is a genetic marker of physical strength and capability.
All right. So if you're a red pillar, not red pill aware, but red pill, like that's what you are. I'm red pill. That's who you are, right? If you are, and you're shorter than 5'5", if you shoot your shot at Pearl, like if you just shoot your shot, she might be interested, right? Right? She might be interested, but I'm guessing you won't. Why not? Why not? Why won't you shoot your shot at Pearl? Don't answer me. Answer the mirror. Let's keep going.
Right.
Just like, large breasts.
Let me acknowledge what my brother said here. Quincy said, Afiz said it right. Let's see what these people are doing 10 years from now. It's just sad that they're misleading the youth. Yes, this is why I kind of have to find the space. Listen, I value all of you 10 people listening to me right now. If that's the only reason I would do this maybe twice, once a week or something like this. Especially if I heard too many things I have to push against, because we can't afford that there's no proper rebuttal to this kind of rhetorics, because of the young people looking, not just concluding after watching them, but say, you know what, I feel like there's more to this, right? And it's not like negating what they said. Like I said, they're blowing up because there's truth. There's some facts in what they're saying. It's the interpretation that's off, right? The interpretation and application. I used to say something when Kevin Samuel was blowing up all over. I was like, you know what? This guy is saying some factual, some realistic things, but there's Kevin Samuel as an ideology, and there's Kevin Samuel's application. And that's Kevin Samuel application is missing. I felt like he was trying to work on that before he died. Like this application. It's not good enough to know how to repeat all the talking of Kevin Samuels. It's not good enough, you know. But yeah, maybe once a week I'll do something like this. I'll see how it fits into my schedule and my productivity, because the truth is that as I'm replying, it's kind of tampering with my productivity a little bit. But I'm here though.
indicate fertility, youthfulness. The hourglass shape it's, and we don't think about this. This is all going on in our subconscious, but this is why we're automatically attracted to certain things, because people want to procreate with the most attractive specimens there are. Ergo, the term natural selection.
Yeah, animals,
So call it
not
superstition,
human
it's
beings.
the way it is.
Okay,
Mother Nature.
I asked you guys this question earlier, so I'm gonna ask it on camera. So
11 and a half.
So no, stop. Okay, so boobs. Yeah, you can have a girl with boobs and butt, or but she's a hoe.
Let me fast forward this part a little bit.
Either or.
No,
Probably will. If
This is my
doctor,
kid.
this is just a preference thing.
Uh-huh.
Because there are some doctors that can do straight up. I banged more strippers than I care to straight.
All right.
Dude, I banged more strippers than I care to admit, and I've dated more. I've been alpha widowed by strippers, man. I'm sorry.
You've been. Can men be alpha widowed? Do you think?
Can men be alpha widowed? You know what? I think we probably could be, but
Did he just admit publicly that he's banged more strippers than? Again, social skills. Social skills. It's not about the fact of being holy or not. It's about admitting that with your full chest in public. Is that really what you want to be? Does that align with your values? Because I know many people that end up in the red pill space, they're just trying to do the right thing. When I tell the ladies that these are good men, in their head they're trying to do the right thing. That's what I mean by that. Because just because you're trying to do the right thing or try to be a good guy doesn't mean you're a good guy. A lot of these men have controlling, narcissistic, and behaviors, right? That's just not healthy even for themselves, right? Because it's basically, it puts you in a place where you have unrealistic expectations of other human beings, and it just doesn't work. You just drag yourself in the mud even further, right? And a lot of them they're just trying to do the right thing, and it's just difficult for them, right? So and I know when they hear like slept with strippers, I never really liked the stripper thing, because a lot of those guys are not that guy. They're not that guy who wants to be roaming around the strip club, right? And they're like, maybe I should try it. And it's not who you are, right? A lot of these issues are social skill issues, emotional intelligence issues. That's what it is, okay? Nobody asked him. He's just vomiting, rolling his eyes and vomiting and throwing up all over the place. And nobody asked him these questions. Is that really the kind of man that you're trying to be? I'm just saying, I'm not judging him. It's the kind of man that he is. It's not wrong for being where he is, right? But I'm asking you, does that match your lifestyle? Is that really what you were trying to do when you stumbled into this space? Probably not. Just probably, okay? No, I just wanted to be an alpha. Yeah, right. If you're not an alpha, you're not an alpha. It's very simple, okay? All right, the best thing you should be trying to be is yourself at the end of the day. But let's keep going.
But, and I've said this before, the best relationship a man will ever be in can never be with the woman he loves the most. And the reason for that,
What? The best relationship? Tell me that doesn't say insecurity to you. That a man should be not the woman he loved the most. Okay, let's hear his explanation.
is because when you when you really truly do love a woman and that you would do anything for her, you just don't have the wherewithal to do and say what needs to be done and said. I've said this.
That's not true. That's literally the opposite of being a man. When you love a person, you tell them what needs to be told to them, but also you make sure the message lands. The part that you called political correctness earlier, right? You make sure the message lands. Meaning your tone matters. If your tone is going to equate to her not getting the message, then it's useless. You as a man need to understand that without making it, oh, I gotta be politically correct. You live in a world that's controlled by power. You don't think you have to be politically correct? How much sense does that even make, even on the surface level, right? So because you love her to death, you mean you've been in love, you're simping? Is that what you're trying to say? You won't be able to tell her the truth. See, again, these are people that are struggling to be men, try to teach people how to be men. These are the issues.
Multiple times, and people are like, oh my God, you're disrespectful. I love Devin to the moon and back. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for her. She's maybe number 4 or 5 on my list.
That's so terrible. Oh my God. The person she loved back and forth is number 4 or 5 on our list. I'll be here. He's going to get done by Devin too. It's only a matter of time. Okay. It's just, unless he changes. Okay. All right. What you say, I know Devin is probably listening too, because she's like the SEO expert of everything. What you say now are seeds that are being sown. She might be telling you, she might be talking to you and be attentive like Pearl right now. And she seems like she's listening. She will show you Pepe. Shaggy. But let's keep going.
I keep telling my boys that I'm probably, when I think about long-term relationships, it'll probably be with a strong 8. A strong 8, 8.5.
Okay.
Because I think
that's terrible too, MTR. It needs to be a 10. Yes, you don't have to be pragmatic with things that we're talking about. We're talking about romantic relationship. Listen, you can't protect yourself. Stop trying to protect yourself. If you're actively trying to do sexual activities with other human beings in a place where you allow them into your heart in a romantic way, you're not going to be able to protect yourself. The closest you're going to get to that is working on yourself and make sure you're solid and you're secured in yourself. All these rhetorics that everything must be math will work against you. 8, 8 and a half. What the hell is that? Who is measuring that? You're measuring your woman as she's 8, 8 and a half on a 10. Who is 10? Forget that number. What about the mindset that's spitting that out of your mouth? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is why it hasn't worked, my G. Okay? And I'm not shaming you, I promise you, but I have to use real life examples. I know you all don't like to use real life examples. You want to talk in generalities. No, the real life example is the results you're creating. That's why it hasn't worked. You're trying to bring everything down to a science. And then you're trying to exclude emotions and feelings. Work. It's not going to work. Yvette says, I just came back for my walk. Wow, Ola, you started earlier today. No, this is, I'm just chilling. I'm hanging out. We might do this once in a while. Just hang out. I'll see how it does. We'll see what happens. Very unhealthy and narcissistic behavior. He believes he's right on everything. Yeah. Work. He's lacking any emotion. It seems have to rush out. We'll see. Awesome. Yeah, we're testing something out. Therefore, a man should settle. I don't know, man. I don't know. The direction of the conversation is just bad. It's just bad, okay? If you're getting with a person that you don't feel like they're a 10 in a holistic way, after considering all of this, okay? Yes, both on the selfish and also selfless way. Those are two different lanes. They don't interweave with each other, okay? You can be selfish and also be selfless at the same time. If you don't understand what I mean, if you don't get it, forget about it, okay? that's a different class. You can come back in the evening for that. But if in this holistic way, at least in these 6 areas, you don't feel like your wife is a 10 in terms of the value she brings to you, you're going to self-sabotage eventually. It's only a matter of time. I'll leave it on the screen. Let's keep going.
That at the higher range of, 9s and 10s and above, your will at some portions will start to shift. Your frame may start to shift,
Yep.
Depending upon the particular
When he said frame, he's talking about masculine frame. The masculine frame does not need the feminine frame or feminine energy. It doesn't. That's the whole point of the masculine frame. Okay? And when we're talking about masculine and feminine, we have to be talking about sexual polarity, right? Hopefully. Because those things are not relevant if you're not talking about sexual polarity. So if your masculine frame will shift because your wife is 10, you are feminine. That's what that is. That's not masculine. Feminine is conditional. Yes. Oh, this is the part they don't get. Femininity is conditional. Yes, it needs to feel safe for you. It needs to feel safe for you to have good experience with it, because by default, it's chaotic. Chaotic in the sense of it doesn't care. It just is. You need to bring the structure. That's what we call the masculine. Okay, order, security to it. You shouldn't need people to be 8.5 before you can maintain your frame. MTR, that's just a terrible rhetoric. I don't know, man. This is terrible. Let me go back and rest.
situation. I think that it's easier to hold frame, when it's much more, normal type looks as opposed to on the
Jesus
supermodel
Christ
type level.
All right, the rule issues are coming out.
Ain't nothing wrong with a strong 8.
Listen, man, my girl, dude, Devin,
Strong 8's still model. Like, what do you?
It's the strongest still model. Everything is math for them. Oh, she's giggling. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! She can't wait for one of them to propose to her. Could it work? It's not going to happen. I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it. It's not going to happen. Okay. It won't. Strong 8 is still model. Models and wife materials. Jesus Christ. People that are looking for wives are talking about models. Anyway, do we know that the meaning of model has changed meanings in the last few years? These days they have to have BBLs. Do we know? Are these people aware? I'm sure they are, but they probably use that as talking point in other areas. Let's keep going.
she still looks
In
good.
magazines? When you say model, I'm not talking about the IG models.
okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about the actual models.
Yeah, the actual models. Here's the difference between
Who's the actual model? Like, what's her name? This old lady. Victor. What's her name again? Oh, I forgot her name. Jesus Christ. Who's there? Like Cynthia Bailey? Who is the actual model? They're old. They're no longer called models. My dude. Let's keep going.
Who's a strong 8 to you?
Like famous?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
young Megan Good, young
You think
Paul
Megan
Patton.
Good's an 8?
No, young one, I would say
Actually,
is
young
above
Megan
9.
Good, probably a
8.
9.
Yeah, I would say a 9.
Stacey Dash is a strong 9. Young Stacey
Young
Dash.
Stacey Dash.
Woo, God, she was fucking bad.
Young Stacey Dash that didn't have opinions was a strong 9.
So to be fair to them, based on the points I just made, according to their godfather, Kevin Samuels, there's no 7 and there's no 10. Okay, I don't think there's 10. I don't think so. Right? So that's the scale they're using. But the problem I'm pointing out is that the fact that you have to put this on a scale tells me that you failed from the internal aspect of life, and you're trying to use math to compensate for it, and it doesn't work because you're a human being at the end of the day. Okay, it doesn't work. That's what I was just to be fair to them on that.
Strong 9.
Lark Voorhees, before she did whatever she did.
I don't know these people.
Lark
Actually-
Voorhees
Saved by the Bell.
was Saved by the Bell. Dude, she used to be.
Can I pull them up on screen?
Yeah,
Pull up.
Do you
Lark
remember Saved by
Voorhees
the Bell?
Before and after.
No, I haven't seen it. I grew up
She's
without
too young
TV
for that.
a while.
keep
Oh, we didn't have.
forgetting
We didn't have.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't born yet.
She's not. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You're gonna be shocked when
She's
you
like
see
25.
Voorhees before and after.
She doesn't know what Save the Bell,
So
Saved by the
that's
Bell
Kelly.
is.
That's
So.
Yeah, that's the wrong. Lark.
Oh, so what's your answer? Can men be alpha widowed? like the opposite, whatever the like man equivalent of that is.
I don't think so. Not now, because if enough time goes by, eventually
you
get around.
take things violently
Yeah.
after a relationship, both to themselves as well as to the other party.
Yep.
In a lot of these situations, you know, is maybe alpha widow is not the correct term for it, but they go to an extreme amount, oftentimes way more extreme than what women. I think a lot of that has to do with the biology of a man that can be more competitive, more violent, on the far reaches of the bell curve. But I think that, and here's what I think as well, like, I'm like answering it, question answering.
That's cool.
I think that women, because you guys are so like emotional and you talk to each other regarding your emotions, you can get all of the bullshit out there, whereas if men don't have any outlet, they don't even have their boys as an outlet, they can get real pent up and just be aggressive in these different situations. So it may not be alpha widowed, but there's a lot of dudes out there. Yeah, there's a lot of dudes out there that, you know.
I've noticed a lot of guys when I ask them, because I ask people like who they love the most a lot, and a lot of them pick like their high school. Like it seems like their high school girlfriend or like the first girl they really like fell for is like the male equivalent of an alpha widow.
I'm sure there are probably some similarities.
But I don't think it's the same because the women, I think a lot of times would leave their current guy.
Pearl, is the type of man that you're having this conversation with. That's what it is. Nothing else. Yeah. High school, like this men are like what, 23, 24, 25? Yeah, of course they remember what happened in high school just a few years ago, right? And of course, some people are just, they've never really had a good experience as adults. Or they keep comparing their divorce to that high school girl who made them feel a certain type of way. They felt wanted. That was the last time that they felt wanted because of all this experience. That's why when you try to bring emotional down to an exact math and science, it fails all the time because it's feelings. Or even though they try to act like they're talking from a place of being pragmatic, it's still feelings that's talking. That's why any grown adult will be comparing their recent life experience to high school. In high school, you weren't paying any bills. That girl was not paying any bills. That girl didn't know what she wants. You didn't know what you want. You said, heck, you still don't know what you want, right?
But men are more logical where they're like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would I?
Obviously, men and women are very, very different, and we, obviously we process relationships very differently. But I think women get over men much more quickly than men get over women. I will say that. Well, I really, and obviously,
unless you're that guy. That's
unless
what I
there
think.
you go.
I think.
And
No, both of them are wrong. Okay. You're talking about when the woman decides to pull the trigger. She had gotten over you long, long before. That's number one thing you should note. Okay. Long before she actually pulled the trigger, pulled the plug on your marriage or your relationship, she was already thinking it, right? Okay. Now, why did it take her that long to actually pull the plug? Some of them, they're staying in marriage for 5 years before they actually pull the plug. Why did it take them? Because it's taking them that long to get over you. That's why. Okay? That's why. It's just that they might stay in it to figure out when it's going to be the right time, when it will feel right, and they gain the courage to leave something that they honestly felt like it's feelings, just like your feelings, feel like it's been over a long time ago. It took that much longer too, right? For men, if a woman pulls a plug, if you're healthy enough, hopefully you're not too heartbroken to move forward in a healthy way, right? But for men, how long does it take you to go looking for strip clubs when your woman dumps you? I'll wait. I'll let you say it to the guy in the mirror. Let's keep going.
that's the point.
You'll be dead to us tomorrow.
Yeah, of course.
If we are over it, we're over it. But it's like, if you're that guy to her, like
she will chase you to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
Yes, she will.
I mean, but there's so many of us that have gone through, like, I was talking earlier how I got into the space, and it was during the this red pilling moment. A lot of dudes, they come into the space because of heartbreak, right? So
Yes.
which is why, like, I think
Yep.
what we do is so important because
You
it
get
gives
that
an
part right.
outlet for these men to be able to say, aha, this
I'm
is what
not
I've been
crazy.
experiencing. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. How many times that I've gone in these conversations with like left-leaning, liberal, college-educated women, and I'm just like, holy shit! Like, if I was to speak my mind during this conversation, they would kick me out the house. And I got a couple.
And why didn't you speak your mind, MTR? Because you're a normal human being. You're a little bit more normal than the person sitting right next to you, right? The goal is not to be right. The goal is to create a better outcome, right? Whatever it is, well, with respect to whatever the outcome you're looking for, right? You could be right all you want, but you can also create terrible outcomes. You can also create an enemy out of for no reasons. I get it. A lot of them are creating it because it's bringing in money, but you can also create enemy for no reason, like just because a lot of the people you're raising, people in the comments, they're going back to their relationships and they're creating enemy out of their wives and their girlfriends because they're going there to repeat this talking point and they're coming off as lame. You could get away with it because you're on a platform, on a pedestal, on a YouTube channel, and but again, back to the point, you're a little bit more normal than the person next to you. So you're having a conversation. You're because I've seen him have conversation with those people. It's pretty normal. MTR is pretty normal. He regurgitates a lot of talking points to some extent that I'll be like, I'll question it too, but I'll leave it alone because no one is perfect, right? But the other gentleman sitting next to you, MTR, Donovan Sharp, no. He's not ready for this part of the conversation. Let's keep going.
Of stories of that just happening just because I speaked what I thought what was on my mind, which we all knew are uncomfortable truths, but because they're so deep down into their feminist BS, like they can't come outside of the, or their college educated BS, they can't get outside of themselves to consider. But I think that there's a lot of dudes that will just stay down in red pill rage mode and just not be able to get out. And it can end off, in not having a satisfied life. Like it might feel good. That's why I always tell dudes, you got to get out the rage.
Yes.
Let it sweep over you.
Yes.
Let it just
rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah, just let it be there, but have a plan to get out of it. Because I see so many dudes that just end up completely nihilistic, completely negative, and
Well, we're talking about rage. We're talking about anger. It's a feeling, right? Have a plan. It's a feeling. You create a plan. You're the influencer. Create programs behind the scenes. Say red rage exit formula. There's nothing wrong with that. Charge $1,000 for it. It's worth it. Because I'm telling you, a lot of the people you're raising in your comment are going to self-destruct. Because they're repeating your talking points with no application. No application skills involved. Right? Just sitting down and talking and regurgitating this stuff, and they can relate with it. What do you think that's going to create in the society eventually? By the way, women are listening. And I think some part of it is creating some good outcomes. Some people, a lot of them are delusional, and they are listening, and some of them are adjusting. The ones that's overly reacted to and say, yeah, that's how I'm going to get husband. No, you won't get husband because the extreme of any side of it is not good. Let's keep going.
And they just stay within that space. You know what I'm saying?
Those guys turn into the black pillars. The black pill community are.
Tell us, Donovan. You know all about the black pillars.
And we can bash those guys, but by the same token, I've been through that kind of stuff, man.
Just tell us the truth. You're a black pill, okay? Right? That's really what you're trying to tell us right now, right? You are black pill, right? That's why you can relate so much. Now, I do have empathy for my empathy level for any one of this stuff has increased quite a bit. Because of the same ideas that I push, which is nothing just happens. There's a reason. We're all cause and effect of each other, like back and forth. We're influenced by each other, man, woman, man to man, black pill to red pill to red pill are where normal human beings to feminists, whatever, right? We're all influencing each other. That's why we call it humans. We're part of each other, right? When we're social and emotional beings. But I think you're trying to tell us something. Let's keep going.
I've been through some bullshit.
We know.
You know, I was lucky enough to come out of it and succeed and all that good stuff. But I understand why some guys are just pissed off. I'm not. That doesn't mean I condone it. But you know, I'm a little bit more empathetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think
All right.
of the people like Hafiz and them that will say that the red pill is the same as feminism?
Yeah, he's,
Like it's like the male version of feminism.
Hafiz
Let's not make it personal, right? Like, but like,
I understand.
that's
I was
just not-
about to go off.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
He was about to go off, but they talk about Hafiz, the guy I mentioned earlier, Hafiz Baoku of the roommates, who engaged them in a debate that I personally thought it wasn't ready for. It wasn't ready for that. He needs another 5 years of real life experience of being married, and then just relax. You don't have to engage people that have made up their mind that they know what they know, right? And let the results speak. Unless you are, well, he was creating content, but not really. He was caught up in his feelings in the whole argument, way too much, and it was part of even when he came back to that. Quincy mentioned that earlier. Even when he came back to re-engage the conversation, he brought facts, so that's actually worse. There's no better way to tell me that you were truly caught up in your feelings. Yeah, people will bring facts, and on the surface it looks like they came with facts. No, they're caught up in their feelings. You have to look deeper than that. Okay, they're caught up in your feelings. If you're going to engage the conversations, that's why I shy away from, because I will be engaged in my feelings, and that's going to destroy the purpose, right? And whenever I do, I try to listen more, right? Listen more, because there could be one or two things I could learn. Everything they're saying is not coming from just lies. Let's just lie. No, this is authentic. This is how they truly feel. So if I want to assess it, I want to assess it from that standpoint, understanding that this is how they truly feel, it's authentic, and if I have something better, I'll present it. But a lot of time they camouflage with, I got stats, I got facts. Well, stats and facts is subjected to how you interpret them, right? They're useful in certain respect, but they're useless if you're going to interpret it with stupid bias. Confirmation bias, for the most part.
Listen,
But I hear men say that like the red pill has turned into the male equivalent of feminism, where they're just dunking on women all the time. Even you left the manosphere. Like what happened there?
We could talk about all of that. So I think, like, to answer your question, I think that the issue is that there's a bunch of different content creators that speak about things from different ways. So when you say something like that, my response to him is, can we go over a specific example of who it is that you're talking about?
There you go.
Because you can keep on saying all of these things. Feminism is the right. You could keep on saying it.
So this was the part that made me decide, like, hey, today let me test something out, because he wanted specifics. Today, all the talking points that I've done so far, I'm only 42 minutes deep into it, and this is about 2 hours of just me reacting to this, right? This is me being specific, but in my opinion, I agree with him. It's still not specific enough. We need first of all to acknowledge that this is about romance. We're talking about your romantic relationships, precisely, meaning there's no paycheck next Friday. So you need to stop acting like this is all duty and responsibility, because this is 2023, okay? If it's going to be duty and responsibility, you need to get the other person on the same page. If they're not on that page with you, then it's not really duty and responsibility. It's only duty and responsibility on your part. And the only thing you're capable of doing at this point, if you are overly obsessed with that, is have unrealistic expectations of people, of modern people, which includes you, modern day people, right? Because traditional men, they don't sit there and just point fingers. They design systems to create the result they're looking for, right? They don't count on human beings or human beings' capabilities of doing the right thing. They create systems to create the right, whatever they consider the right outcomes, right? So, like I said, charge $1,000 for it. Let's start having some real conversation. Let's start having some real examples. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yes, but let's go over specific examples of specific content creators that you think align like this. That's why, like, in my reaction to it, I was just like, I wonder who he's talking about. When he's talking about the neo red pill and the just, who are you talking about? Like, I have no idea. Like, it's just confusing to me. So, when he says things
I can
like
understand that.
let's go over examples and let's do it.
But I understood him very well because a lot of the rhetoric is trying to push Hafiz, because I tend to align with them. I thought it was terrible presentation on his part, but I tend to align with his. So I maybe that's why I understand him. I understand why you're confused, because you tend to align with whatever that is. What is a neo red pill? I don't know what that is, but you align with it and you're defensive for it. That's what I would be willing to argue. But I'll leave that alone for now.
By that, because it's such a generalized question. I don't like it when it's that general. Let's get down and talk about specifics.
When anyone who says that the red pill is male feminism, what they are referring to are the black pill community and the commenters. That's what they're basing this on. They're not basing this on me or Rolo or no. We are all hot.
Actually, we're basing this on you, okay? And I mean, do we need to go back to your page and look at your titles? It's obvious it's the male feminists, okay? Toxic feminists, to be precise, okay? It's very, very obvious that that's exactly what it is. And if you look at MTR, to be fair to MTR's titles, they're not, if you listen to him long enough, he aligns more with advocacy for men, not necessarily anything toxic. Okay, so I will give him a lot of that pass as well. So, but this guy talking, no. You're exactly what Hafiz was talking about, precisely. Let's keep going.
Highly successful, highly functioning men, right? No, that whoever said that, they're talking.
Just because you're successful and functional doesn't mean you're not addicted to bullshit that's actually feeding the public with toxin. What are you talking about, sir?
Talking about the losers, because when one of us goes viral, all they talk about is incel culture and da 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 da. But they don't recognize the guys who are actually out here making a difference. So anyone who thinks that the red pill is male feminism, they're strictly talking about black pill guys who literally do nothing but complain about women and red pill guys, and then the comment section.
But the comment section is the audience you're building. There's a reason why they're in your comment sessions. There's a reason why they tend not to be in my comment sessions. I don't pander to them. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I am too balanced for this type of people. I'm not, there are men in my comment section. They just tend not to be. Shout out to Quincy. I saw Quincy earlier, right? They just tend not to be this type of people. But your comment is full of this type of people. What are you talking about? There's a reason, right? Never mind the labels. That's where Hafiz was wrong too. Hafiz was busy, focused on the labels and trying to come off like he knows everything about red pill. I don't know everything about red pill. I know what it represents on the surface, what it looks like from the outside looking in. The manosphere, the black. Some people say black manosphere is different from red pill, like whatever, man. But I don't care about the details of that. What I can tell you, if you ask me, only when you ask me or when I'm creating content, what I can tell you is that what this looks like is toxic. I would never come prepared with statistics so I can prove that I know. No, I don't need to do that. If I need to do that, I'm trying to prove that I know probably more than I actually know. And it's useless because you already made up your mind.
And where does feminism have women's self-improvement?
That's a trick question because it doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
Eyes. I don't know. How you do?
There's nothing in feminism that says get better, but like all the red pill channels they talk about all have self-improvement.
That's it.
They'll say there's no solutions, but they all offer solutions. They just can't solve the unfair justice.
There's a lot of self-delusion within feminism.
Yeah.
And they can't, and then there are laws. Well, why haven't they changed the laws? I'm like, because we can't do everything.
Yeah, right. Like, what are we?
Oh, that was his other argument.
Yeah.
The self-delusion is, let me repeat that, in modern people in general. In modern people in general. Yeah. The self-delusion is in modern people in general. Let me see here. Let's keep going.
Right, yeah.
ridiculous.
And
I'm
I'm
just
like-
what are we? We're not fucking congressmen.
I'm
Get
like,
outta
I'm
here.
No,
not.
it's
I'm
all
not
like
God.
we're like
let
we're
me
like
cha-
we're
let me
all
change
like
the whole justice system in
Yeah.
my first
Oh yeah, let me
year
just
and a
call,
half
yeah,
on
let me
the
just
doesn't
internet.
make
the
sense.
senator here. Oh yeah,
but you know what it is? He's trying to put all of that on you in order to discredit kind of the conversations that you've been having. But I consider us all like portions and pieces of an organization.
Yes, yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna be in finance doing the law guy's job.
No.
At all. You know?
I was like, "What? Haven't you been in Red Pill longer than me? Let's set something up. Like, like we could, if you want, we could set something up. I'm a doer."
You know what's interesting
Should've
though
just
is
asked.
that do you guys think that we'll be able to get to the point because we talk about enacting change and we do it by kind of the individuality of the men that come in our section, also the women too that want to become a marriageable material. Do you guys think that we'll be able to get to a point in our position where we'll be able to change laws, like work with?
No, it's not about changing laws. That's not what you're not capable. You clearly just say you're not capable of doing that. It's not about that. The idea of manhood is to teach them how to navigate a very, very vicious and dangerous world. That's what you need to focus on, brotherly. If somewhere in there you can have space or people that specialize and they can help change laws and lobbyists and all that kind of stuff, sure. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but you understand that that's a process. Understanding that everything in life that's worthwhile is a process is part of manhood. That's what you should be focused on. You're a content creator. Create a course. I don't know if he has something like that already. I'm just saying wildly. Right. Focus on where your gift is much more needed and be a little bit more balanced. You're already 500,000 subscribers. Why not be a little bit more balanced with your views? Because I could tell that you have it in you, MTR. Donovan doesn't have it in him. He can't. He needs to go and heal first. He needs to take time off. Maybe I think he does mostly reaction these days. Maybe he can keep doing that and adjust accordingly as time goes on. But he's not capable of doing that. He's who he is. You're a little bit more balanced. Create something that healthy man understands balance. They understand that, hey, I have my belief system. I understand other people have their belief systems. Right? I understand I need to learn how to navigate the world that has a lot of differences from who I would like to be or my ideal world. A man understands that we don't live in an ideal world. A man understands not to live in a over-fantasized world of 1960s. It doesn't exist anymore. Right? Men are delusional right now. Right? Right now, they are. Because we're not going backwards. I'm sorry. Okay? But let me say it more appropriately. The young people in the dating scenes right now, they are more delusional. All of them. Not every single one. But in the general sense. The society is delusional when it comes to dating, relationships, and marriage right now. That's why we are creating the results we are creating. Not because of one side. I'll be sure you don't want me.
Stand-up packs, like actually do things where it's more than just content in a space, but not us maybe specifically, but we're definitely creating the burning platform for change to occur, right? You think like the MRAs, a decade or so ago. I think what part of the issue is there wasn't the burning platform for it. Right. So do you guys think we'll be able to say 100% paternity testing for all births?
I think it will happen eventually, but
100%
it's not
paternity
gonna
test.
It blows me away.
Hit that like button, by the way, because this is going to get more interesting. Okay. Yeah, I just noticed it's going to get more interesting. Let's keep going.
Offended at the very idea of required paternity testing at the time of birth.
It shouldn't be okay. I just need to get this off my chest. It shouldn't be a question who the father of your
Exactly. Like, why should a 25-year-old have to tell you this? Oh my days. I wish this is the regular show. I can play some sound effects. Right. Why should a 25-year-old have to tell you this? This is just terrible. This is just all bad. It's not good. It shouldn't be a question. If it's a question, your issues are deeper than paternity tests. Okay? And if you have that question, yes, you should go do it. But your problem does not end there. You just started. Jesus Christ.
Childish.
Should it be?
This shouldn't be a question.
It's unbelievable.
Who? Oh,
Can I talk about this?
He didn't get it.
yeah, go ahead.
I love
go ahead.
Maury Povich show, by the way. That is a
Oh Lord, he loves Maury. Jesus Christ. Oh no. He missed completely the point that she just tried to make just now. It shouldn't be a question. He missed that completely.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I'll still
When it
I'll
comes
still
to
watch Mari though.
When it comes to 3-year-old Taekwon Tavius, you are not the father. They're popping and like, yeah, bitch.
Right. But you also forget that when he came out on the show,
Yeah.
they booed him when he came
Yes,
down.
every time.
When they were testing 4 different fathers for her.
Yes.
But-
They boo the guys, but not her.
So we'd completely kill Maury's job, right, if we were able to stand something like this up.
I loved it. I love Maury. It's a guilty pleasure.
But the reason why this is so
You won't. That's the issue. You won't be able to stand something like this up because you clearly are not going to pay for it. Are you going to be paying for all those tests? You probably won't pay for it. Okay? Let's keep going. Again, you think you're wiser than the forces that you live in. You think you're wiser than the forces of the trend of the ocean that you live in, right? Ideally, I guess it makes sense. But what problem are you solving? Just to find out? No, but that's not the problem you're trying to solve. The problem you're trying to solve is your insecurities. And that's not going to solve it. It's already too late. If the problem you're trying to solve is just to make sure that every child knows, you're right. That will solve that problem. But whose interest is that? The child or yours? Yours. Stop capping.
a passionate topic of mine as well because my family was impacted by paternity fraud as well. Really? Yeah, I met my sister later in life. I was already in college by the time that I met her, and we had no idea that she was a part of my family. And I'm just like, damn, you know, not only did she not grow up with her real father, but then also she didn't have access to us. So it's like, by not doing this, you're not only just robbing the child, but then the family that could have surrounded that child as well.
See, that sounded so much eloquent and like it's the interest of the child, but you know it is not. It is not this conversation is not in the interest of the child. I can see how it can be easily camouflaged for that. And sorry for the story you just told. It's kind of sad, right? But again, that's not the problem you're trying to solve. Let's stop capping and go back to the problem you're trying to solve, okay?
Paternity fraud, you want to know something? A woman's worst fear is getting EPARD spelled backwards, right?
Yeah.
A man's worst fear is paternity fraud. I can't even.
You should get jail time if you.
That's your fear, okay? Most men are not roaming around being afraid of that. I agree it's a terrible thing to ever happen to a man. I agree it's such a bad thing to happen to a man. I get it, right? But most men are not roaming around thinking like, what if this happened to me? What if this happened to me? That's your fear. This is personal. Let's keep going.
You do that.
I feel it's
I
however
cannot
many,
imagine.
However many years that he spent raising that child, double
Jesus.
it.
That will
Fucking
never
Christ.
happen.
It'll never happen.
Yeah.
But it's
I don't
just that-
I don't have kids, but I cannot imagine the gravity of the shock and the pain that comes with finding out that a child you thought was yours is
You can't imagine, or you're about to tell us something. I think he's going to tell us something. Let's keep going.
somebody else. Stefan Molyneux had a woman call into a show one time. I actually happened to be watching it. And she's been married for like 15 years. They have 4 kids. And she's like, yeah, my first kid does not belong to my husband. And I just remember she talked about it so nonchalantly. She says, well, I guess I.
No, that's not close enough. You're going to tell us a personal story.
That is it
Not
is
close
the
enough.
worst, dude. It is the worst thing you can ever do to him.
How do you mean kinda?
It's so disgusting too if you think about it. Like, was it like 4 or 5 days that you could get pregnant out of
Yeah,
a month?
yeah.
So you just don't know within that time, and so you place it on someone else, even though you know that there's a chance.
It's unbelievable.
That's
man.
so disgusting. Like,
It is
Well,
disgusting.
here's the thing. This doesn't excuse this, but when a woman is ovulating, especially in this day and age, oh yeah, girls are going to go out and get it. That's for sure. You can always tell.
Lord.
This is a pro tip for the guys. If you have a girlfriend, get a cycle calendar for your woman.
What?
That way, and study the phases. That way, if, like, for example,
First of all, there's nothing wrong with what you just said, but the purpose is off and it's disgusting. The purpose is just completely off and retarded at best. Let's keep going.
Forgive us for the crazy the week before
Well,
period. Forgive us.
it is what
I'm
it is.
sorry, we're
No,
insane.
we hold y'all accountable for that too. Come on now. Control yourself.
Listen,
Forgive me.
but if you have a cycle calendar on your woman, then you understand because a woman is never chemically identical from one day to the next. Women go through 30 different chemical changes every single day. Now they're not all, it's not all black and white. It's ebbs and flows. But the other day, Devin, I think she was getting snippy about something online, and I could just tell she was just normally I'd be like, yo, you need to check that. Now, don't get me wrong. Even when she is PMSing, she never, ever gets out of pocket because I put her back in pocket very quickly.
Wow.
But when I know.
Wow. This guy, I put it back in pocket immediately. Let's see how well it does with that.
She is PMSing. I'm a little slower on the trigger. That doesn't mean I tolerate disrespect, but I understand what she's going through chemically, and so I take it upon myself to maybe put some distance between us so that she can be a bitch in peace. That's
Wow.
That's what the cycle calendar is. Guys are like, dude, I don't understand women. One day she wants to have my kids, the next day she wants to shoot me in the face. Bruh, get a cycle calendar. It's absolutely free. If a woman wants to have 80 of your kids one day, but then wants to, stab you in the eyeball with an ice pick, the cycle calendar.
The issues are deeper than. Don't listen to that advice, okay? Don't get a circle calendar just for that purpose. That's just terrible, okay? Don't do that, okay? If you're doing it from a place of empathy for your wife, you just want to know what's going on with that, sure, okay? But you're doing it so you can put her back in peace pocket. Your problems are deeper than that. And you're just brushing your problems under the rug. And when it comes out erupting, you won't be able to control it anymore. With that controlling behavior, can it work? It won't work. Jesus Christ. These are the people mentoring men online in 2023. Jesus. Oh my God.
Will tell you, I will shed some light on that. This is pro tip for the guys.
Pro tip.
For the guys. You gotta know
Jesus Christ.
See? She knows. This is just how it is, man. Up and down.
No, yeah. Even the most sane girls, all crazy. It's look at like we feel different every single day.
Right.
But it's like a lot of guys will try to make like women men, but we're not men.
No. You are absolutely not.
And
men.
they like expect us to talk. They don't expect us to, but sometimes like when I'll read the comments, I'm like, guys, like the girl is still, like she's still a woman. She's not gonna talk like a man.
Have you noticed that that's the second most reasonable thing that's been said in this podcast so far is coming from the woman? This is just terrible. Oh my God. She needs to be an adult. She needs to just be an adult. She's a woman.
Here's what the real issue is that sometimes I think that some women fall into, I can have emotions, so I can just act however it is that I want.
I agree with you.
There he goes.
You can be on your period and act correct in the workplace, but when it comes to out in front of me, all of a sudden you can.
Why not hire her to work for you and see if she's able to do her job? You see, it's such a terrible analogy as usual. Workplace and romantic relationships. There's no paycheck on Friday. She's going to, especially if you don't get it. Jesus Christ.
Can't, control yourself.
Control yourself. Terrible.
From
By the way, the control yourself thing, most of us will do it until we know better. Control yourself that time of the month. Control yourself. It doesn't work. It only gets worse. Okay? It doesn't work. But, when a man doesn't know any better, he lacks experience, he will try it and then he will fall on his face anyway. There are better methodologies to use if you found that you are in that time of the month. If you're keeping calendar like Brother Donovan here, if you're keeping a calendar, then all you need is just a little empathy, just understanding. And it works better. It works long term better. Is you're sowing seeds that she will multiply for you when she gets out of it anyway. But no, I'm just gonna put the bitch back in her place. Control yourself. Yeah, I won't tell you more about that because sometimes you need to experience it before you get it. I'll just leave it at that.
From a you know, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just like, well, why can you do that in one arena, but you can't do it in front of me? And I think it's because, you know, we allow it at the end of the day.
Yes, here's another reason. Modern women.
It's not because you allow it. You're not capable of allowing or disallowing it. The only thing you can do with that is not. The only thing you can do with that is influence. Okay? Seduction. The one or two things you never want to talk about. That's the only thing you can do with that. Trying to be controlling will work. It's not going to work. Even when you don't realize you're being controlling. Because I realize many of them don't realize they're controlling. They just think, hey, I'm just trying to be a man. I'm a man. I'm just supposed to talk to my husband, just my wife, and tell her what to do, right? That's after all. I'm supposed to keep my frame. Bro, that's precisely not you not keeping your frame. Okay? Getting caught up in your feelings.
Value their jobs more than they value their relationships.
Oh.
They absolutely do. And here's the thing, but because think about this. The job tells her how to dress, how to act, when to show up, right? If a woman were to leave the house and a guy says, well, wait a minute, I don't want you wearing that, what's she going to say? You can't tell me what to do. Yeah. But let her show up to work. And
that's because she doesn't trust your judgment. She doesn't feel safe and secure with you. If she's using that language with you, you don't tell me what to, your wife is telling you that, your issues are deeper than just that moment. She has no respect for you. Okay? If she's just outrightly telling you, you can't tell me what to do, your relationship issues are deeper than just surface stuff. It's not just because modern women value their jobs more than their relationship. That's false. There are modern women that value their jobs more than their relationship, but that's a function of how they feel about the relationship. That's a function of the level of respect they have for you and your relationship. We can't just talk about the symptoms and then forget about everything else behind it, the disease itself. Let's keep going.
And her supervisor says, whoa, wait a minute. You can't wear that low cut blouse. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. And this is what is causing another
she has a paycheck on next Friday. There's a paycheck next Friday. So should we encourage you? No, I'm telling you, you're not capable of doing either. The only thing you can do here is back off, engage your seduction powers, right? Get your respect back to where it needs to be. That's the only thing you can do here. Because you're not giving her, even if you're giving her money for the household upkeep or for herself, there's romance involved in this. People's emotions, passion is involved in this. It's hella different. Stop comparing them.
Disconnect with women is they respect their bosses more than their men. And guys don't know why.
That's true.
Have you noticed he's repeated it in different ways about 3 times? This is a point of contention for him. I get it. I understand.
True.
Yep.
That's absolutely
yeah, man.
true.
Like, and it's funny because I tell guys you have to vet women, you have to put them on probation and all this
Wow.
other stuff, and they always balk at the thought of having to qualify for this.
I used to cry at work too.
Well, there you go.
Sorry.
There you go. That's just how it goes. Women are, like
in the bathroom, but no one would see.
Have you had conversations like that in the bathroom with people? Has anyone caught you crying in the bathroom?
No, I was the only girl at the office, so it was kind of like my own bathroom.
This is your sales job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You gotta
hated
cry in the
it.
bathroom for those.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was.
I've cried a couple
horrible.
times on sales jobs.
Oh, Lord.
It's no joke.
But yeah, women respect their bosses. Women will move heaven and earth for their boss, for a company that doesn't really give a shit about them. But then the guy who, then the guy that who's legally obligated to be there with her, he takes care of her. She didn't want to respect him. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
It's terrible analogies all over the place.
Shout out to feminism.
Shout out.
Right?
They put the workplace over the man.
I'll tell you guys a story about the worst. I'm going to give you.
He's going to tell us this story, but I did a session on this yesterday, so I'm going to skip it anyway. If you didn't see that, sorry, let me just skip that so I'm not a little bit redundant here. You know what? I'll let it play.
I'm going to give you guys the Reader's Digest version of the girl that I love the most. This story is
the girl I love the most.
To make a very long story very short, I started paralegal school.
I'll do very little reaction between this next 12 minutes.
There's this
because I did yesterday.
19-year-old in my class. We took a shine to each other immediately, right? It was a great relationship. We spent every day together, blah, 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 blah. Red flag number one that I didn't even think about. One day, I had a headache in class because I suffer from migraines, and she recognized that. She says, what's wrong? I said, well, I've got a headache. She's like, all right. Reaches into her purse, and she gives me this big white pill. I'm like, what is that? She says, it's Vicodin. And I was like, all right. So I took the Vicodin. Headache is gone. What's a 19-year-old doing with a bag full of Vicodin, right?
She's a drug dealer, right?
No problem at all. Red flag number two. She had homemade tattoo on her wrist, right? Told me she got it when she was 15. Hold on. Red flag number three. Stay with me. Red flag number three. She had a 6-year-old. She was 19 years old who had a 6-year-old, which means what, class? She had her child at 13, which means she was having sex at 12. It gets even better. The baby daddy was in prison at the time we were dating.
Oh.
Statutory EPAR. Here's the reason why they didn't throw the book at him with Jessica's Law. It's because she testified to the jury that she seduced him, and the jury actually bought it. So let's set the scene. So my birthday, I open up Facebook to get all the birthday love. She left her account open on my computer on Facebook.
And of course you went inside, right?
I scrolled through, saw all kinds of stuff. Drove to her place. I said, I want you to be honest with me. Have you cheated on me? I wanted her to lie to me. And I wanted her to lie to me so I could just keep up the delusion. She said, honestly, yes. That is the worst emotional pain I've ever felt in my life. To this day, I never will. Dude, I went to her bathroom. I puked, ripped off the necklace. She's blowing me up at work all day long. I'm sorry. I can't pick up the phone. So finally, I picked up the phone. She's like, hey, I'm sorry. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. She's like, look, I want to come to your place. I have a birthday surprise for you. So she comes over. She has like this little cupcake, and she bought me a watch that she knew I was looking at. Then she turns around and lifts up her shirt. There was my name tattooed on the small of her back.
Okay.
Dude, my hand to the man. So I was back in her class.
That's because she tattoos everybody on her skin, dog.
Downhill from there. Guys, this story gets so much worse.
How old were you?
I was 31. I was 31 years old.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say 17.
Oh, no. So
he was just a 17 leaving a 30 years old body.
She continued cheating on me, right? So I'm always trying to catch her. I lost my job. I lost the place that I was at. The car that I had was paid for because I paid cash for it. It broke down. I didn't have a job, so I couldn't get it fixed. I'm evicted. I ended up having to live with a couple of her drug addict friends in a quasi crack house. Both people were on felony probation.
What?
You can't make this up. Both people, the guy and the girl, were on probation for
You're right. We
felony
can't make it
possession.
up.
They were on felony probation, ankle bracelets, the whole nine. And so I lived there, and so I had to live there, right? And so finally, and I kept trying to get back with her. September 16th, baby daddy gets out of prison. Okay, baby daddy gets out of prison. I called her up on September 15th. I said, you know what? I can't do it. I think you still love Ben. I can't do it anymore, dude. She cried her eyes out. Hung up the phone. I stayed up all night long. I couldn't sleep. So I called her up.
Let's be honest. You cried too, right? You cried with her. Wow.
I called her up the next day. I was like, hey, meet me at this gas station. Then I called up my brother, and I borrowed $800. He gave me $800. I went to the jewelry store. I bought her a ring, proposed to her. I proposed to her. Listen, I'm telling you. Listen, it gets worse. I swear to God. People wonder why I speak with such conviction about these things. Dude, look.
We never really wondered. I didn't wonder. There's quite a lot of people, men, yes, as well, that never wondered why you speak with such conviction. We could tell it's personal. It is personal. Let's keep going.
Look, it gets worse.
I bet.
So she says yes, right? So now, all of her friends are like, oh, she's getting engaged. Well, eventually she started fucking the baby daddy behind my back.
Of course.
So we were in this love triangle. Anytime she was pissed off at me, she'd go and fuck him. Anytime she was pissed off at him, she would come and me. So finally on Thanksgiving, I had to call my family. This was in North Carolina. My brother comes out into this quasi crack house, and he's kind of looking around, and they're all looking up at him like, "That's your brother?" And of course, we look alike. And so I'll never forget, man. I'm telling my brother about the situation. He's like, my real name's Alex. He's like, "Alex, what are you doing?" And I said to him, I said, "Dude, you don't choose who you love." I still loved her. So he drives me back.
I bet you still feel that way.
This girl called.
See, when you go from the extreme of you don't choose who you love, and you go to the other extreme without proper healing. Well, if you go from there, you try to fix issues without going through necessarily due process of healing, you will go to the extreme opposite. And then you start telling people you get to choose who you love, but it's a lie because that's your shadow. You're yourself, right? If you don't do the work, you're still you, right? And here we are with this story. Jesus.
Me up and tells me that she was now engaged to be married to Ben, right? I'm crushed, I'm heartbroken, I'm crestfallen. I'm doing pills, I'm doing drugs.
From the time.
Hey, Indy Tony, good to see you. Hey, Latu.
This time,
Latu, you're back.
Time has progressed.
I met her the first day of the second semester, so right in January. So this happened between January. This happened in one calendar year. So I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. So now I've lost her forever. So now I'm doing drugs and all this other kind of stuff. During the time I was living at that quasi crack house, they were telling me, yeah, she this guy, that guy.
Of course.
During the summer, she lost an exorbitant.
Wait, be honest. They didn't just tell you. You went asking if she did, right? You went asking everyone, did she do this? Did she sleep with this one? You went asking, right? Be honest. You can just be all the way honest with us, right?
She was already a small girl.
Yeah.
She lost an exorbitant amount of weight. I found out that she was shooting heroin all summer long. I had no idea. She
had no idea.
So anyway, so New Year's Day comes around. Oh, wait a minute. Let me back up. December 10th, the guy, so it's a boyfriend and girlfriend in the crack house. The guy, I was at the library. Listen, the probation officer arrested the guy. So then he's in jail for probation violation. So it's just me and his girlfriend. I had no interest in her. It was not like that.
Be honest. You wanted to wife her up. You wanted to make her your wife, right? Be honest. Let's be honest. Let's keep going.
At all. Well, he was feeling some type of way about the fact that I was staying there. So he called his landlord and told him that I was staying there without their permission. New Year's Day, little Jamaican man comes to the door. He points at me. He's like, "You don't live here. And if you're not out of here by 9 o'clock the next morning, the sheriff will come and put you out." Called my brother again. I was like, "Dude, I'm going to be homeless." So he bought me a bus ticket to Atlanta, and I go down to Atlanta where my mother and brother were living and kind of started over then. So I lived in Atlanta for 6 months, decided.
Wait, your mother and brother was living there. What was your father? Were you raised by a single person? Is this why you project so hard on single mothers? Is that one of the reasons? Let's keep going. It's always personal.
To move to Vegas. That's a whole big long story. A couple of months into living in Vegas, I get a phone call from a mutual friend of ours, me and the girls, right? And she's like, "You are never going to believe this." I was like, "Well, what happened?" She said, "Ben is dead." I was like, "This is her husband now, right? The baby daddy. They got married." She says, "Ben is dead." Here's what happened. 2 weeks after she married this guy, she started having an affair, right? She started cheating on him.
She's a lovely lady.
Dude. So the story goes is that he gave her $20 to go out and get Chinese food. She took her daughter with her, goes to the guy's house, calls him up and says, "Hey, I'm leaving you, and I'm gonna be here with this guy with the daughter."
Wow.
Of course, he loses his mind. He drives out to the trailer.
What do you mean? Of course, he loses his mind, right? Let me leave it alone. There are a lot of people that will lose their mind, but over a girlfriend. Let's keep going.
He starts kicking in the door. The guy on the other side of the door says, "If you kick down this door..."
Wait, I think they're married now, right? It doesn't matter. Let's keep going.
"I am going to shoot you." He kicked down the door and caught a shotgun slug to the chest. Done and killed immediately. It gets even worse.
Of course.
They had to put an ankle bracelet on her because they suspect that she might be the shooter, right? Let's back up one more time. And again, this is all relevant. This is when I still had my car. I'm driving to her place from work. I get to her place, and there are 3 cop cars in the driveway. I'm thinking it's because
Wait, did he say back
I still
up?
had my car up one more time, and they suspect that she might be the shooter. Right? Let's back up one more
Oh,
time.
he's backing up.
And again, this is all relevant. This is when I still had my car. I'm driving to her place from work. Driving to her place from work. I get to her place, and there are 3 cop cars in the driveway. I'm thinking it's because of something that happened next door, because the dude was always beating on his girl, right? That's the kind of place this was. The cops were at her place. She got arrested for possession. The people I was staying with had called the cops and ratted her out. So now she's in jail, right? And of course,
Indy Tony, this is not our regular show. We're just testing something out, but we're also reacting to this video. So just follow the story. It's a red pill, manosphere type of story. So that's what it is. But the title of what we're responding to is the state or something like that of modern. It says the uncomfortable truth about modern dating. So that's what we are reacting to, just so you know. All right, so let's keep going. But shout out to you though.
and of course, I have to save my fair maiden. I called up an old roommate and borrowed $1,350 to bail her out. She gets out. I love you.
Of course.
Then goes right back to Ben.
Oh, she went back
now
to
we
him.
fast forward.
I thought Ben was dead.
I backed up.
He backed up.
This was before.
Oh, okay.
So now.
So you bailed out
Yep.
the young lady who had left you
Yep.
to go back, and then when you borrowed
Yeah,
the
my
money,
attention span for a story is
borrowed
not
the
that
money,
good either.
So you had to pay back this money to someone else who has nothing to do with the situation, and then she went back straight while she had the tattoo of you on her.
Yep.
Okay.
And all no, wait.
Questions to ask you.
And the other guy's tattoo, he's not telling us that part. The other guy's tattoos are also on that girl's body. Not just that, or any other boyfriend she's had since high school. Remember, she's been doing this thing since 13. So let's not get that twisted.
Almost done. I'm almost done. So now we fast forward. So Ben is now dead. I don't know how they got away with it, but he's not the guy's not in jail. She ends up marrying the guy that killed Ben and had another daughter. So in the end,
This was the original baby daddy.
the original baby daddy is dead. The original baby
Oh,
daddy.
Ben was the original baby.
Ben was the
I'm
original baby
getting-
daddy.
Yep.
Okay.
But
Ben
the
was-
lovely lady went to the
The
guy
new
who
guy.
killed Ben.
Lovely lady.
Oh, okay.
So so now
Wow.
he ended up marrying the guy who killed her.
This is why I tell you that MTR is quite a little bit different from MTR is the guy in the beige color. He's a little bit different from the guy in white, Donovan Sharp. Quite a lot different. Okay, MTR is a little bit more of a balanced human being. That's like normal, like most people, right? And Donovan Sharp is a special type. The person telling the story is a special type person. Donovan Sharp, I don't think. All right, I'll slow down a little bit, but I doubt if he can say the lovely lady like he just said, because he said the lovely lady that's coming out from a very subconscious place. In Donovan Sharp's subconscious place, I'm not sure if lovely ladies exist. Not even his own girl. His own girl is number 4 or 5 on the list of the women he loved the most in the world. He admitted to this earlier. Let's keep going.
Her first husband had another daughter with him. So the father of her first child was killed by the father of her second child. You cannot make this up. And so this is why people always wonder why I'm so passionate and I'm so sure. I have seen the worst. I've been in the worst of the worst situations. It is the worst situation I have ever been in. But to this day, I can freely admit that I have never loved anyone or anything as much as I loved her.
Wow.
And that is my
I
original story.
need this girl to give some girl game. She's getting rings left and right.
Right?
Have viscous innards made of plutonium.
It certainly felt like it. it certainly felt like it. The girl, like,
I just want to know.
she was 19. She was 19. She was hot. Had a southern twang. I mean, it was all
we
there.
can hate, but she's gotten more proposals than I have.
Proposals from guys who were clearly either simping or who had gone to jail with
Look.
for having relations with her at 12 years old.
Look.
Questions?
Would Donovan have
Jesus.
been Donovan if Donovan was exposed to Donovan's work today at 31 years old?
Yeah, I would not have made that mistake. I would not have made that mistake with her. And you know what's interesting? A lot of
He would have. Even today, he would have. Because again, who you are is who you are, especially when you refuse to engage proper healing, therapy, counseling, coaching, especially if you assume and you conclude that you have all the answers in the world. He would if the right girl goes to him right now and rub his head behind his head and rub his back and rub his nipples, he would make the same mistake all over again. Because he's never done the work.
times I think, actually, you know what? No, I think I still would have gone down that road because
His reactions are the
well,
funniest part.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. As men, we are hard-headed. Most lessons that men encounter, you can't teach. Some lessons can't be taught. Some lessons you gotta learn. That was a lesson. Dude, everybody could have told me, stay away from her, stay away from her. I was in love, man. Like, dude,
He won't. All right. So life with Natu says, Ola, you sure you don't love before? Love can make you, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But these guys pretend like they can. If you have the backstory, you will understand where we're coming from. They pretend like they're not normal like the rest of us, right? It can, but that was extreme. You have to admit that was extreme. Like, are you able to fall in love with somebody that endangers your life? Do you have brothers that will randomly fall in love with a girl who is 19 years of age, who is potentially a drug dealer, who has 19 years, has like 13, has a 6-year-old baby, which means she had the baby at 13 and is still out on the streets trying to, and then she's dating some guy who is in jail, and the guy came back from jail, got married to the guy, even though she's engaged to somebody else. Do you have brothers that will fall in this kind of stuff? If you do, I'm sorry, but that's extreme stuff, okay? All right, so we've all done stupid stuff because of love, quote unquote love, in love, but there's some extreme. This is an extreme, and when people come out of an extreme and they don't do the proper work they're supposed to do, they will come and be projected on the rest of the world like it's normal. These are not normal behavior, please, okay? That's what I'm saying. Indy Tony says, yes, you are whom you is, who you are never gonna change, especially if you don't engage proper healing. Meaning, as a function of process, it's a process. It's going to be time. It's going to be solitude. Do the work. Engage the right coaches and people. If you don't do that, and you conclude that you just have all the answer, you will end up on the extreme other end, which is tell everybody like, no, you can't fall in love like that. But the truth is that you're a human being. You will fall in love sometimes. The idea is to find a balance and make sure that you're operating like a normal human being in this world that we're in. Especially if you're a man. You need to learn how to navigate this world because it's a dangerous place. It is. Okay. So yeah, so that was the backstory, life with Natu. Hopefully, maybe you can go back a little bit, but yeah, there was backstories to this.
she was 19. She's the hottest girl at school. She's showing me off. I mean, I was in love. I had to, and I am so fortunate to have made it out of that armpit of a county in rural North Carolina. It is literally the lowest I have ever been in my life, and to be able to sit here with all of my accomplishments despite having gone through that, that's a miracle. It's a fucking miracle.
You pulled yourself up out of hell.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Has he?
I've heard this.
I got anxiety hearing that entire story. So as you're going through this, you're not thinking to yourself, oh, because of the E-rap or E-par that happened in her life, man, maybe she did something that's going on. Maybe of a lack of a father, man, I shouldn't have. Maybe because she just decided to get a tattoo of me after she cheated on me.
I met her father. Her father was in and out of prison her entire life. Entire life.
Do you think that men? Okay,
It was
because
crazy.
I've noticed this, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I feel like sometimes men.
By the way, there are people that come out of that. Every single one of the situation he talked about in the story, there are people that come out of it and become solid people. Okay, but we also know that people that come out of that kind of situation tend to have traumas that they have to deal with, right? But the extreme of this is that he's generalizing off of aligning all of these things together. So anytime he sees a single mother, he's like, no, don't do it. Anytime he sees somebody with their father going out of jail, like, no, don't do it. Like, it's just basically out there scaring a lot of people. And the truth is that a significant amount of the population they're born in single single parent households. So just telling them to avoid majority of people in society is not, it's just not a good enough solution. It might be a solution short term. It's not a good enough solution, and it's only looking at surface things basically.
Like the girls with, I don't want to say like the girls with a troubled past, but like the reason there's an attraction to it is because they want to feel like they saved her or like helped her. Like
Yeah.
men like to feel needed,
We like to
and a
feel-
lot of
that
those
was a Captain
girls
Save-A-Ho.
and a lot of those girls like really can make a man feel needed.
Yes.
Because they do need you to survive. Like
Yes.
a lot of them.
Yep.
Would you hear your thinking?
I've
I'm
got,
not saying all guys. I'm just saying that seems
I've got,
to be a
look,
dynamic.
hold on. Before you answer, I have one more story.
So because you need to save somebody as a man, you have to now end up in such no. Sorry. No, that's too much. That's extreme again.
I have one more story. These were the two relationships that red pilled me the most. Girl I worked with. This was long before the other girl. Girl I worked with. Dude, hot Puerto Rican girl.
All right, so this story I did not share yesterday, so listen carefully. Let's keep going. Hot Puerto Rican girl. You know, this girl is just keep acting like it's never seen fine girl before. But let's keep going.
I mean, she was bad as hell.
Okay.
Fast forward through all of that stuff. I never fucked her, but she called me up one day. She called me up. She didn't come to work, and she called me up. I was like, "What's going on? Why aren't you at work?" I got kicked out of, or my sister kicked me out. And I was like, "Oh no, your sister kicked you out." So what I did is I rented this girl. True story. I rented this girl a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house near downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. The lease is in my name. I got cable in my name. I got her, and electricity was in my name. I found out. So I moved her all in and everything, and I'm paying all of this girl's bills. It's unbelievable. I'm driving home one time.
These girls to give out girl game. Let me.
That's not girl game. That's
She got a whole house paid for.
by who?
I wouldn't pay girlfriends all of their bills. I wouldn't do that, but it just depends. There's so many nuances to that that it could be, right? But to just make that an absolute never do again, when you come from this place where you've done that in the past and you feel hurt by that person, you start getting into the internet and advise everybody never do that. But there's so much nuances to it. Like, yeah.
Dude, I was not. Clearly, I would not do these things.
Do you think it
Yes, you
reflects
would.
more on girls having good game or just a stage of life that you?
It probably is still doing it with somebody else right now. It's probably paying somebody's bill in downtown Miami right now because that person is making him feel like a man finally. He's probably doing it. So, probably.
And to allow these things to be a part of your character.
Probably a little bit of both. There's no such. The only girl game has nothing to do with sexual allure. Okay, all a girl has, girl can get, dude. Girls can, dude. As soon as a girl opens her phone, she's getting hit in the face with dicks. It doesn't take game to.
Ladies, is that true for all of you listening to me right now? Every time you open your phone, there's dick pic in your phone. Is that how this works? I know you get approached more than an average man would, right? But of course, again, exaggeration, right? But okay, maybe it's just a talking point. Let's keep going.
To do that, right? I mean, it's.
No, okay. It doesn't take game to get laid. Like, of course.
No, hold on.
Pearl, when you open up your phone, do you get
Exactly.
with dicks?
No, Pearl is about to tell us the kind of experience she's having in DMs. Let's see.
I mean, you get messages. Not
But here's the
dicks.
thing: the reason
Like-
but listen, the reason I did these things is because I wanted to fuck her, and she knew I wanted to fuck her. That was it. Any girl.
So you were buying her livelihood, paying all her bills and everything just because you wanted to have sex, and then you come back out of that situation and you start advising people. You're not ready. You weren't ready, at least.
Can get that sexual. Any girl can get sexual validation, but to be able to keep and retain it from a man of value, that's the girl game.
See, I feel like I would feel bad accepting that if I'm not interested.
She absolutely did not.
Like I would feel bad accepting that from a guy because then it's like I feel like he's expecting something, and if I don't want to do that, then like why are you?
Most normal girls will feel bad accepting stuff from people they don't want to do anything with. Of course, when they're talking, they make it sound like most girls will take stuff from men they have no plans to do anything with, right? If it's that obvious that all you want is just sex, she probably will feel some type of way about it. right? Not necessarily bad, but some type of way. There will be a pushback. If you don't listen, they might still take it if you think it's good enough, right? But anyway, I think Carl is having an epiphany here after having these one-on-one conversations.
I always told her, no pressure, no.
This is not just a deck of cards. This is a collection of 54.
Let's skip that. Okay.
While she was in the, I always told her, no pressure, no pressure. But while she was in the house, and I never spent the.
All right, so gentlemen, just because you said no pressure doesn't mean she won't feel pressure. Remember, feelings over everything, including data, stats. In reality, right? In reality, if you're really trying to assess these things down to the bottom, feelings, you have to assess the feelings as well, not just the lagging indicators, recorded data. Okay.
Night, I found out she was her ex-con baby daddy. It was a plan from the start. Her sister told me about this plan. She didn't have the credit or the money to get a place of her own. Her baby daddy, I think his name was Ray, was getting out of prison in a week, and she needed a sucker. She needed a sucker to finance a place for her and her baby daddy to live. So as soon as I found out about the plan, of course, I cut off all.
Do people like this exist? Of course. There are evil women that absolutely exist like that. That they will do things like that. They will use a man. Is the majority of people? No, it is not. Will Donovan Sharp try to make you feel like it's majority of people? Yes, he will. Is it being evil? He's been evil, but he's not trying to be evil. Okay? He really thinks he's trying to help someone. But what he's doing is creating this imagery that will allow you to start projecting that same image all over the place, and you will attract what you fear the most. Let's keep going.
All contact, but even still, I held out hope that she might actually come around. And people.
That's
look
the
at way
second
I am
story.
now, and they're like, dude, I refuse to believe that was you. That was absolutely me.
Because the people that are following you are just as lame as you used to be. I believe that was exactly that. It makes sense that was exactly you. And there's a high chance you're still like that. If you find the right girl, a 10, 8.5, who rubs your head and make you feel like a man. The way you've never felt before. Much more than, let me not call her name. Let me not bring her into this. Let's keep going. Jesus Christ.
Absolutely me.
That's real.
Yeah.
I think that to answer your question, because I think it was specific to guys want to fix. I think that there was a trope within media that guys should be the fixers. They should sacrifice, their money, their time to save a woman, a damsel in distress. We talk about the Disney and the impact of that onto the minds of men today. But I think through the content and the space, it's breeding a new man.
Yeah.
Within that is to say, no, I don't see your masculine behavior. I'm not talking about your girl. Your girl's on some other shit. But I don't see that masculine behavior as something to over encumber.
Yeah.
I don't need to over encumber that. No, I will go select the better option, right? But at the same time, I don't know. Have you sat down and thought through, that time in your life? And I understand it was one of the worst times in your life. You're saying,
yeah.
What were the things that led you to go there? Because I think that would help men in understanding. Is it the way that you were raised? It was
scarcity, man. Scarcity.
All right. That's a good point.
Dude,
I agree with that.
The girl's name.
She bitch. Let's go. Yeah.
The girl's name.
Stupid.
The girl's name was
Delilah.
Stephanie.
Oh.
I had never ever had sex with a woman that attractive. Not only what.
All right. Are you getting it? He has never done Kerewa with a woman that attractive. Right, me too. Andy Tony, me too. I need people to pay my bills. Will you pay my bills? Right? I need people to pay my bills, right? Maybe you can pay our bills, right? But listen to what he just said. He's right. He got that part right. Scarcity. He had never had an encounter with a girl that fine. This is why they're obsessed with rating women. 8, 7, 9, 10. You never see fine woman before in your life. Jesus Christ. Hey.
Was she attractive? She took care of me. She used to bring me coffee before class. She used to buy me I remember one time
There's a little girl game we could learn,
Okay. So I texted her.
I knew this girl was doing something to have this many men chasing her. Come on. I know.
Pearl, no, we can no, hold on, real quick. We can laugh and chuckle, but that's not girl game. Like she got a man killed, and she'll probably get somebody else killed.
I'm saying it's scarcity because her doing those little things and then.
Thank you, MTR. Let's talk about the scarcity. It is game, okay? It is game, okay? And even in a marriage, there are times that women can leverage the power of their femininity, their seductive power, right, to create better outcome for both parties, not herself only, but to get what she wants out of the relationship. There are times that you can leverage some of this game. If you make a man feel like a king, that is game. That is game. Now, he's right that not to the extent or to the detriment of him and just you surviving, because no, that's not game. Game has to include value for the other party as well as you, right? At least the way I picture a healthy relation. We're talking about healthy relationships here, right? Not some crazy story like the one you just told us.
And also
I
have
never
a good
experienced that.
You had never experienced it,
I
and
was
you
married-
didn't want to let go of it.
No, I was married to a woman who got fat and didn't have sex with me for a year and a half, right? So a year after the divorce was finalized, all of a sudden there's this beautiful girl taking interest in me, right? Dude, she would come to my place and
Wait, let's rewind.
A woman who got fat.
You had never experienced it,
I
and
was
you
married-
didn't want to let go of it.
No,
Are we hearing that for the first time? He was married. What do I keep telling you? He was married. Let's not get it twisted. He was married. What happened in that marriage?
Dude, I was married to a woman who got fat and didn't have sex with me for a year and a half, right?
Oh, wow. This is a conji issue. Oh, wow. 1 year and a half conji. Jesus Christ. It's no wonder. Listen, gentlemen, especially, okay? The reason why I'm telling you is this, is if you start hearing extreme polarized views, there is a reason. They are telling you a lot of truthful facts, data, statistics. There's another level you have to go to, application. They're probably not going to be able to help you with application. They're not going to help you with game. They're not going to help you with healing. Okay? They're going to help you expand more of that rage. And you're going to self-sabotage every opportunity you have. You will not be able to recognize a feminine woman anymore. Every woman you see will just look like a modern, quote-unquote, modern woman, masculine modern woman. If she pushes back and say, this is what I like, you will say that's masculine. I'm just letting you know. Why? Because they have personal stories. He's telling us. Let's keep going.
Right? So a year after the divorce was finalized, all of a sudden there's this beautiful girl taking interest in me, right? Dude, she would come to my place and cook for me. It was something
So a year after a divorce was finalized, some fine girl just came into your world, and then you lost your mind, like Natu said, right? Lost your mind. Do you lose your mind because of love or because your scarcity? Which one? Scarcity or love? Which one? I think he's right. It's scarcity. Let's keep on.
I was married, and my wife didn't cook for me.
Yeah.
And so these were things I had never experienced. And so what factored into that was the scarcity. I had never had an attractive woman treat me like that.
Your wife didn't cook for you?
Nope.
Oh my shoe. I'm so
Every
sorry.
once in a while she would, but she didn't do it on the regular. No, she didn't.
So sad.
And by the way, my ex-wife also committed paternity fraud. You can't make this stuff up.
Oh.
All right. Remember earlier when he said, I can't imagine. The truth came out. Voila. I don't have sound effects right now. We're just testing stuff out. Okay. The truth came out. So if somebody is speaking so assertively, like they're sure what everyone is going through about paternity fraud, Brother Ali, it's probably personal. Don't listen. If you start to over-relate with that, you will start to judge the people that could. You get the gist. Let's keep going.
Oh wow.
Can't make this stuff up. Nope. No way.
Holy.
But interestingly enough, the one relationship that led me to that actually finally pushed me over the edge was inconsequential.
Wow.
It was a girl I hooked up with when I was in Vegas.
Another one?
And we worked at the same call center. 3 weeks after, we hooked up for the first time, I decided I want to be with her. So I drove to her house. I said, all right, look, Martha, it was fun, but it's over. And she didn't seem the least bit surprised. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, that's great. She's somebody else's problem now, but why did she get over me so quickly when a week and a half before?
Wait, let's go back.
I decided I want to be with her. So I drove to her house. I said, all right, look, Martha,
No, wait.
we worked at the same call center. 3 weeks after, we hooked up for the
Sorry, my attention span on this type of story is very short. So sometimes I lose because I'm also doing some things here, but sorry about that.
first time, I decided I want to be with her. So I drove to her house. I said, all right, look, Martha, it was fun.
All right, the part where I say I decided I don't want to be with her, that's cap. I can hear that already. So about 10 minutes before this point is when I decided let me do a test out a long reaction video, right? So I'm hearing this for the first time. So I don't know anything else is about to say, but I can guarantee you what he just said is cap. Okay, he did not decide he didn't want to be with her. Let's keep going.
Fun, but it's over. And she didn't seem the least bit surprised. And I remember thinking to myself,
So you told a girl that you don't want to be with her, and then you said it's over, and then suddenly you start to wonder why she wasn't concerned.
but it's over. And she didn't seem the least bit surprised. And
Because she didn't want you, my dude. Like, oh my God. Come on. Do I have to teach you everything? Oh my God. She did not want you. It was like good riddance to bad rubbish. Yoruba people say, hey, photo joke. See, that means a bird that's about to fly, but then you threw a stone at the bird. What do you think is going to happen, right? This is... Okay, maybe it's not basic. Let's keep going.
I remember thinking to myself, okay, that's great. She's somebody else's problem now, but why did she get over
No, you did not think that. Stop it! This is stuff you told yourself years later when you were trying to justify the BS. But anyway, let's keep going.
me so quickly when a week and a half before she told me she loved me? I went home and I Googled, why do girls get over breakups so easily?
Exactly, bingo. That's how you ended up in the red pill. You went to Google and you Googled why do girls get over me so quickly. She served you breakfast. You chopped breakfast. She dumped you. Donovan, come on. Tell us the truth all the way. If you're going to tell us a story, tell us the full truth, please, now. Yeah.
I was on my computer for almost 24 hours straight. And that was when I was like, oh wow.
He went through the rabbit hole. I guarantee you he has never dumped anyone ever before in his life. Like, you know what? I'm not interested. I guarantee you. Okay? Okay, I can't guarantee that. Okay? But he's never dumped anyone before. Let's keep going.
And that was the day Donovan Sharp was created.
That was the beginning.
Yeah.
Imagine if you never did that. You may still be on that damn path.
I was looking, it's funny. I was looking for answers. I think a few years before I had bought a book called How to Be an Alpha Male by a guy by his name was John Anthony, and it resonated with me.
John Anthony? Is it the same John Anthony? There's another one, John Anthony, who teaches pickup artistry and stuff like that. You bought How to Be an Alpha Male. Jesus, I understand. I get it. I feel for him too, Sunshine. Good to see you, Sunshine. I feel for him. And more so because he's not ready to seek help. And it's probably tougher for him to seek help now because he's on this pedestal. He's a hell of a content creator. And he's making money. There's a lot of people that follow him that validates all of this nonsense. So he probably is not capable of saying that this is not. His biggest breakfast is probably coming. It's not yet here. I mean heartbreak. Sorry, heartbreak, because I know there's people watching this that are not part of Niger Slingos. Yeah, his biggest heartbreak is coming. Yeah. I don't think he's learned yet. And he's not capable of learning until it hits rock bottom. And money can put a filter over your face. It wasn't the reaction he was expecting when Martha agreed. Like you say, rejection breeds obsession. Yes. That's true. It could be that too. Thank you for pointing that out. Like, but I doubt that. I think he was dumped. You know, yeah, that's too. He was dumped by the girl, or he sensed that the girl was not interested. The girl didn't like him. Yeah. So let's
so
go.
much, but that was right before I met Stephanie. So I used some of the techniques to make myself attractive to Stephanie. I just didn't know what to do afterwards or what to look for. And she taught me a very valuable and expensive lesson.
All
I
right.
remember when
That's a good point. You know, when you go into a textbook and you cram game, you cram somebody else's idea of game, that, because what they pour into a book is their own idea of game, and they don't really engage you on a personal level to see where your strength and weaknesses are. Yes, you'll fall on your face like that. Okay, that's precisely the lack of game at play for you. Let's
I
keep
told
going.
my mother, she was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "What?" She's like, "Alex, you could have been Ben." And I thought to myself, you know what? That probably could have been.
Yeah.
That probably could have been.
Yeah,
That's that
Ben is the guy who the other girlfriend killed.
my so when people ask, well, how does he know this stuff and why does he? That's why I have my own anecdotal experiences, and the thing is that even though those stories are crazy, the reason this community exists.
If you want to learn some game, a good person to speak to is your mother. This is one of the problems, that people that tend to speak in absolute never listen to women. They just sit there in absolute, never listen to women. This is one of their problems, and the problems of people that follow them, right? You're not listening to them so you can just follow like a stupid head with no body, right? You're listening to understand. And your mother will give you game because she has experience, in addition to the fact that she's a woman. She will give you some really, really. Anyway.
Is because so many men have similar stories, right? We didn't just wake up one day and decide, you know what?
And I should say she might, because not all mothers. I should say she might give you some good game. Just ask her. Just ask. You're asking questions to listen, to understand, not to turn it to religion. That's another problem with books. I have books. I wrote books, right? But another problem, the limitations of it, is that you tend to turn it to religion. You don't internalize with respect to who you are as a person. So there's limitations to it.
Let's make up a bunch of crazy, gnarly stories about women and form this community and call it. No, we all found each other because we said, wait a minute, that guy went through the same thing as I did, or my buddy did. One thing leads to another, people get together, and now we have the Red Pill community.
I didn't realize how common the sexless marriage thing was. So do you think when your wife wasn't sleeping with you, she was sleeping with someone else?
She could have been.
Because it's, to me, I'm like, don't the girls want to have, like, why do they just stop sleeping with their?
That's because you're 25 years old. This is probably going to go way over your head. It's possible she's sleeping with someone else. It's also very possible she's not sleeping with someone else. The last thing she's thinking about in that space, for whatever reason, she doesn't like the marriage anymore. One of the last things that probably on her mind is probably sex. Okay? If she's sleeping with somebody else, we're talking about a different ballgame entirely. Is it possible? Yes. Okay? But that's not majority of the case. I know the people in the community will make you feel like that's majority of the case, and then you the moment your wife says she don't want to do career anymore, she doesn't want to do this thing, and you're like, why? It must mean she's sleeping with someone else, and then you disengage from the actual work you're supposed to do. But you're 25, so what do I expect?
Their husbands.
Because their husbands are unattractive. That's what it is. The reason I've got the Hail Mary tattoo because I used to be Catholic. I went all in. The
husband is not necessarily unattractive. She's just not attracted to the husband. Those are two different things, right? Your husband could be the finest fine boy ever, that's like all these girls are drooling over, but you're not attracted to him anymore, maybe because of the way he treats you. Your feelings. It doesn't have to be accurate. It's feelings. That's why it's called feelings, right? And for that reason, you might not just be attracted to that person or see finish. Like you've been there, done that, and you're feeling bored out by the relationship, right? It doesn't mean it's not attractive. So if your wife is not attracted to you, it's a temporary thing. If she's ever been attracted to you before, there are probably deeper reasons for that. Doesn't mean you're not an attractive person. You don't want to internalize that and start walking around world like, say, "Oh, it's because I'm short, fat, and ugly." No, she's found you attractive before. She can find you attractive again. It's a temporary thing. It doesn't have to be permanent. Or you can listen to Mr. Donovan and make it permanent. It's up to you.
RCIA, I don't even know what it stands for anymore. It's like a series of classes you go to become Catholic and all that good stuff, and you're supposed to abstain from sex. And that's what she used as, and that lasted for a year and a half. So.
Oh,
yeah,
she
it was a
used
bad reason,
religion.
but that's how it was, man.
Wow.
Yep.
Damn. So sorry.
So now, I mean,
Like that's what I didn't understand when I first went into Red Pill. I didn't understand why men were so opposed to marriage, and
that's one of the.
Those men are not opposed to marriage. In fact, I would argue that there's a lot of those men that their problem is that they're obsessed with marriage. They don't want to do the work of creating a healthy marriage, but they are obsessed with the idea of marriage. And now they're resenting that marriage never worked for them. Okay. See, again, there are nuances to this. It's not textbook is a bastard shot. Let's keep going.
It was so foreign. Well, partially, but it was so foreign to me because I was like, my parents were married. Everyone, like, most people I know were married. Like, there was some, like, where I grew up, it was Catholic school, and there was some like divorced families.
But it was like not spoken of, frowned.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I didn't really know the story. Like, when you get older, you hear more of the stuff that happened behind the scenes. But when you're young, they don't tell you.
No, of course not.
You know, and so, but then when I started to realize, like, the men, they don't even get their kids if there's a divorce, like 90% of the time. Then I started to learn, like, how the Duluth model was implemented, and like women can charge men of domestic violence without giving men like the right to a fair trial to face their accuser, like all that stuff in civil court. And then I started learning about how once the guys get married, the girls will get fat and then stop sleeping with them, and then how men value youth and purity, but the average age of first marriage in the UK is 31, so they don't get either. And
you start
like,
doing the math,
and
right?
I just started like,
yeah, you keep doing the math, you will attract what you attract the most. You will attract what you fear the most. You keep doing this math, you attract what you fear the most. We're humans, we're not robots. All right, and your circle is not 8 billion people in the world. Your circle is not 300 million people in America. Your circle is no more than 20, 25 that you've spoken to actively in the past 2 weeks. Probably not close to that at all. So if you use data and statistics and fact to cast yourself, it is what it is. Just saying. Let's keep going.
thinking about it and like putting myself in the guy's shoes, and I'm like, if I was a guy and I was gonna risk everything, like would I want to do it for, you know, the average girl today?
No.
And who's overweight, or if she's not overweight, statistically she will be. She's not pure. Like what guy gets a virgin nowadays? She's not like, and they don't cook, they don't clean. And I was like, if I was a guy, would I want to get married? And I'm like, and if she leaves, she can take half your stuff. She can take the kids. And then what they'll do is they'll say, well, how common is this? Da 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 da. And it's like, okay, well, the whole point is that's a lot of power to give someone.
Yes, it is.
And that's not really a fair deal.
No.
And
happy wife, happy life, though.
In love and war, all is fair. That's just the reality, and you have to learn how to navigate that. Listening to a 25-year-old girl tell you how to navigate that is the beginning, not of wisdom, of stupidity, of foolishness. Let's keep going.
Well, I've got another saying. I mean,
but why is that there? Because the woman has all the power. So you're gonna have happy wife, happy life because she has all the power.
Yep, that's it. That's why I say girlfriends are better than wives. Because if she's a girlfriend, then you can just...
If the woman has all the power, you're going to have to take it. You're not going to ask for it, and if you ask for it, she's not going to give it to you. To get worse. I bet Pearl can't tell men that. She can't comprehend what I just said. Let's keep going.
Just end the relationship without any perceived collateral damage. And a lot of guys in the community say, oh my God, when Devin leaves Donovan, she's taking half his shit. No, she can't. We live in a state that does not recognize common law marriage. When we move, we'll move to a state that does not recognize common law marriage. But men, we are fair and we are just. And
and what does that mean? You're now suddenly protected from yourself? This is deep. This is called playing defense. You're still not winning. You're still stuck on Stephanie, my dude. What about playing offense against whatever it is you're playing against? I don't know what that is. Right? Yes, you're protected. No one is going to score one on you. You're right. Right? Let's say it's not about you. Let's say it's one of your followers that's basically relating with you right now. Yes, they've blocked all the corner. There's no way they can score on them. Can they win the game? No, they can't. They're gonna be left alone in the league, and the game is over already. People have moved on to the next level. You're missing out on life. You're missing out on a good experience in life and love, which I know you're obsessed with, because that's the whole problem here. Your idea of love. You remember you were the one that fell in love with that chick and you were doing stupid stuff, right? And you're still missing out on it because you're busy building a castle around yourself. Eventually to cave in on you. Let's keep going.
I've said this in public. If I ever decide to leave Devin, I'm going to make sure she's taken care of financially.
You're not going to leave Devin. If something happens to that relationship, she will leave you. Okay, let's keep going.
Because, dude, she quit her job. She helps me. She helped me to build the empire. She's paid her dues. She puts up with my crap, and she treats me like a fucking god. So if
That's
it ever
game.
comes to a point to where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of tired of this feminine, submissive woman who does literally anything I ask her to do. I'm gonna make sure I break her off. If she decides to leave, she ain't getting shit though.
Well, I think most men are very fair,
Yes.
honestly. Even with like the child support stuff, I think most men want to like take care of their kids. But it's like the women get so spiteful and greedy, where they'll just like drag a man to court out of spite
For no reason,
For
man.
no reason. There was a girl that came on my show that said,
Really? For no reason? Have you done the assessment? Right? People just drag each other to court for no reason. Have you done the assessment? Or you're just blowing hot ass through your ass? Jesus.
she stopped letting the dad see the kids because she felt like the kids were better off without him.
Unbelievable.
And like it wasn't abuse. Like she would like then what the girls will do is they'll say some messed up shit and be like, I don't want to get into it. I'm like, what? Then why'd you say it? Like,
It's like speak for themselves, though, right?
And
Like,
even the women that are not that spiteful, then they have the lawyer in their ear.
Yeah.
And the lawyer can make money off of this.
Yes.
That's a good point, MTR. That's the part they never talk about. The lawyers are in their ears. It's not as simple as she just wants to be evil. Okay? Number one, you've clearly dragged each other through the mud. You've dragged each other through nastiness, being nasty to each other, verbal abuse, emotional abuse at each other. And now there's a lawyer in our ears like, you're not going to get what you deserve? What kind of unrealistic expectation is making you say for no reason? Well, first of all, Pearl doesn't know anything. But thank you, MTR. That grown man next to you, how come he doesn't know that? Wow.
yeah.
And then you begin to understand the industrial divorce business that is running this country, right? You go and you look in Title 4D and you're like, oh, shit, they make more money the more that they can extract from
There's more
child
to it.
support?
Right.
There's more to it. That's why if you're going to be engaging people in a sexual way, potentially having babies with them, yes, you need to make sure that you have enough intelligence, emotionally speaking, so you don't end up in that system, because you'll be dragged, okay? Regardless if she wants to be evil or not, that system will drag you. Somebody say, oh yeah, it's a money-making system. Yeah, before, uncle, of course.
And it almost looks like an elaborate plan. That's why every other fucking commercial is he went to Jared or every kiss begins with K. Almost like they're in business with one another. It's have you ever driven down a street where all of the potholes are in the tire track, right? It's almost like you think that the tire manufacturers designed the street, right? Or change your oil change your oil every 3,000 miles. No, that's bullshit. You don't really need to change your oil until about 5,000 or 6,000 miles.
So what do you guys think about like?
Did he just try to do analogy with oil and stuff and car?
Like the manosphere red pills that they would say, marry before you carry, but now men don't want to get married.
And he shock you. right? And then you're shocked, right? Keep going at the pandering thing. Let's see how far it goes for you. You're doing well. You're making good money at 25, 26. I don't know what that is. You're doing well. Okay. But, yeah, this is not going to last. You're going to have to change your content at some point because you're going to start to feel stale. It's the same shit over and over. You start to detect some little loopholes. They want to carry before you marry before you carry, but yet they don't want to marry, right? You're confused? Okay, let's keep going.
So what do I say to who?
Yeah, no, like because there's two conflicting messages in the. I mean, there's so many different people, but you would have Kevin Samuels say things like, "Marry before you carry," right? And I think that's fair,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah,
think
of course.
that's fair.
Of course.
But at the same time, you hear the men say, "We don't want to get married. Do not get married." And I understand both sides. So like, how do you reconcile that?
Easily. Private marriage.
Okay.
You get married, just don't get the state involved. Have the wedding, have the ceremony, have the pomp and circumstance, cut the cake, do the little thing where you.
Oh, by the way, he doesn't want kids at all. I saw him say that on another podcast, on Suscast. He doesn't want kids at all, right? So his idea of family is probably different from yours, just so you know. If you are like most people, it's probably different from yours, right? So he's saying do private marriage, right? Well, the whole idea of marriage license is that so that you have, Caesar to stamp it that like we recognize as a society that these two are married. But just do a private ceremony. A private ceremony, why? Why do you need a ceremony? Just to say what, right? Okay, he's trying to protect himself from the state and the woman, right? Oh no, he's going to make sure he lives in a state where common law doesn't count, right? But child support will count, I promise you. But anyway, but the real issues, which is skill set to build healthy relationships, let's not worry about that, right? Which is the only way you can play offense in the forces against your relationships, your romantic relationships. Let's not worry about it. Let's just defend ourselves. You can't win that game. You will be a loser all the time, right? Now, the real reason why they're doing that is because, again, they're being defensive. They're playing defense only in a game that's clearly a game, right, of life, right? And they're just playing defense. There's no effort to, like, hey, what about the part where I just improve my skills, like on how to maintain a solid marriage, relationship? No, never mind that. It's never going to work. That's why you must make sure you leave. Nothing is going to work except building a castle around themselves, right? That's why I said this guy is not going to leave. What's her name? Devon, something like that. He won't, right? As you can see, MTR is paying attention. MTR is like, I'm confused. Yeah, I'm red pill, but not this. I'm a little different, Anyway, let me just listen.
Wrap it around with the wine, break the bottle and all that stuff. Just don't sign any papers, right? You can, because honestly.
Can you legally change your last name?
Yes, you can. You can change your last name. You can go to the
Will,
Social Security. Yeah.
power of attorney.
You know it.
You could
That's
do
right.
all of the marriage things, I guess, except for like the tax. The combination from a
That's
tax
it.
perspective.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
Besides that, you could do all of that separately.
And the funny thing is the only reason why.
All of that is just overworking yourself. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's not going to work. You're still going to get finessed. You're still not going to have a good time. Okay? I know marriage is not supposed to be about good time. It's a long time. I hope you have some good time in it, right? It's for the rest of your life, right? Anyway, just be guided.
We think people are married is because there's evidence of it, but we don't see the marriage certificate. Oh, we saw the wedding, and that's proof enough, right? So if the wedding is proof enough that you got married, then why sign the papers?
So if you guys had daughters, you would be cool with that?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yes? Okay.
Yep.
I'm just
100%. And
Wait. What did MTR say?
Proof enough that certificate. Oh, we saw the wedding, and that's proof enough, right? So if the wedding is proof enough that you got married, then why sign the papers?
So if you guys had daughters, you would be cool with that?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yes? Okay.
Yep.
I'm just
100%.
It's a yes.
And the thing is you have to understand female nature. And it's funny, a lot of people I have had discussions with, they say, well, you have mother, what if you had a daughter? And I'm like, look, man, the truth is the truth. Whether the truth applies to all women, whether they're related to us familially or not. I love my mother, and I love.
Oh, wait. Slow your roll. He's about to tell us more truth. No, not the one he's saying. The actual one. Let's get to it. What about your mother again? Because we know he had some favorite words for his father, right? On the other video yesterday. What did they call him? They said something beta. A sick beta. He called his father. Jesus Christ. But anyway, let's keep going.
Love my sisters. They were hoes, man. My mom was a hoe. Listen, my mom was a hoe when she was married. Dude, my mom cheated on my dad.
Do you think a normal human being will call his mother a 304? Let's be honest. A healthy person, right? It's not a big deal. It's just a label, right? Right? It's not really a big deal, right? You know, we just gotta call it what it is, right? Gentlemen. Let's keep going.
And had at least two. Dude, my mom cheated on my dad and had at least two. Both of my sisters have had at least. I was there for one of them. So I know and I've witnessed this stuff firsthand. And there are a lot of guys who would like to think, well, that doesn't apply to my mom. Yes, mom, I love you to death.
It doesn't apply to my mom. That's on you. Right? Alpha male. That's you. All you.
You brought me into this world.
Wow. I just speak blunt. I'm just a truthful person, right? You don't see correlation between this and these terrible outcomes. If you don't see it, if you don't get it, forget about it.
Has an abortion that takes her off of wife or I know
100%.
Long-term relationship
100%.
material.
100%.
The thing is that we'll never know because she'll just lie about it.
Okay, what if you do know?
So if I
Well, if a lot of guys don't care, those are guys without options. If you commit to a woman who made the unilateral decision to end the life of another person.
A house or a laptop? Which one do you think is worth more? Well, definitely not the house because it not only
person without their consent, that is a special kind of evil.
I'm with you. I agree. Like I'm very pro-life, but I've just no, I that isn't the consent.
Yeah, it's a different conversation entirely.
Question that I've got.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they could just be because then it's interesting because if guys don't give a certain answer, then the other guys will be like, oh, they're just capping. They might be, I don't know, but
I don't know, maybe.
I've just asked guys on the show if
he's
they
disqualified. Real talk.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care.
Have you ever asked the question on your show of the women that are in there, like how many A's have you had throughout your life?
How many A's?
What's that? A?
No. Ooh.
Oh, A's.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we did. I actually had a whole show on where we brought in like these women to actually show the pictures from an and this is the thing, like
Yeah, A's is deleting babies.
yes, we did. I actually had a whole show on where we brought in like these women to actually show the pictures from an and this is the thing, like it's really hard to find like good videos and pictures of what it actually looks like. It's actually really gross. And like one of the girls talked about how like
the thing is that is an important show because I think like it's sort of like when you go into like supermarkets today.
Yeah.
We don't watch the poultry being created. So it takes out a lot of what it took to get that from the pasture into the supermarket. I think to a degree it's the same thing for that act is you don't see it. So you don't understand what it is. You don't understand what happened. It's just kind of bing bang.
No, it's for a lot of women, even those that advocate for it, it's traumatic for them. It's nothing new. There's no way it's going to be more traumatic for you than the woman. That's another cap that I see in these spaces. It's just that conversation is much deeper. There's a lot of political agenda behind it. So
bang boom, get it done.
And that's what she said. She said they didn't like tell her, and this was just a random group. Like it wasn't.
They didn't tell
I
her.
didn't plan this or tell them the topic. It was just like I didn't know this before she got there, but she was saying like they didn't tell her anything and they kept it very vague. And because the thing is like you have to think about it, those abortion clinics, they're operating as a business and they make most of their money from abortions. And they'll say it's other stuff, but like think about it, what's going to make you more money, a surgery or some pills?
You ever seen those commercials with the
I don't want to talk about this part. Let's see.
abused
And they don't care really if a girl's had an abortion.
Same educational
Let me-
institution.
animals, being abused? I just can't handle it.
That's why it was shocking to me that I've asked so many guys and they don't care really if a girl's had an abortion.
Yeah.
But
And
the guys haven't seen it the same way that the girls haven't seen it. I mean, we're all kind of raised.
Well, it depends on what you mean by care. You know, it depends on what you mean by care. Do they care? They care from a standpoint of, listen, you're looking at someone's character in a holistic way, not just one element of their past, right? And also, maybe they're coming from a place of advocating for a woman's right of choice, right? That doesn't mean they would want that to happen to them. That doesn't mean they would just be okay with the idea that somebody would do that to them without their consent. Again, these are some of the disingenuity in these conversations. There's like 3 conversations going on at the same time, right? Do they care about what specifically when it comes to deleting a young one?
Raised in the same educational institution.
Let me subscribe this to you guys. Noit robas, spelled backwards, are performed by doctors. Am I wrong?
What?
I'm trying to figure out what the Roibas is.
Noit roba is the A word.
Oh,
spelled
backwards. Okay.
Right? Right?
Got it.
They're performed by doctors, right? What is in the Hippocratic Oath, the one line that everybody knows is do no harm. Noit robas are the only medical procedure that goes directly in the face of the Hippocratic Oath that no doctor gets in trouble for. Do no harm, right? So how is it that doctors that perform these medical procedures?
Yes, there's a lot of cap in that conversation. You're
I don't
not.
want to see it.
But it's 7. This is what people don't understand about adoption. Like they'll say, oh, the foster care system. If you give up a baby like fresh out the womb, like it's not that hard to get someone to adopt them. The problem is the crackhead mothers that like kind of put their kid in bad situations till they're 5, and then the foster care system like takes them.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, from what I mean, there could be more I don't understand. But
There
from
is
what I
more
understand,
that
like,
you don't understand.
yeah, it's not hard to find 2 loving parents, especially with all the infertility issues.
with
nowadays.
a baby, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, but it's like nobody wants a kid that's like been from a crack house the last 5 years and is going to be
That's fair.
traumatized for life, because we've been on both sides where we've adopted and given a kid up for adoption, and I will say like it's very risky to adopt a kid that's had trauma in their early
Very
life.
risky,
even if they don't remember it, it still changes the kid's brain. Like most of your development is done before the age of 3, 4. Like I think it's before the age of 3. So it. Yeah, so I've
I
been.
just find it so interesting that it's my body, my choice after conception. And it's never my body, my choice when they have to pick more than 30 forms of contraception beforehand.
And here's the thing, my body, my choice, I understand that. But we don't own our children, okay? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because...
That's a disingenuous.
What about the argument?
That's a fake
I have
argument.
7.
Oh, my God.
7.
So she uses
Birth control.
That's
as a form of birth
I
control.
think it's 40% of women that have had one or more.
More than one.
I thought
Wait.
40% of women that have had
40%. Wow,
More than one.
that's a lot.
I thought I saw one stat that said 2 or more, but regardless, like the 60%.
That's what happens when you start to encourage people to start doing these things outside of marriage. Like I said, there's a certain percentage of those women that will keep those babies for you, and then you come back and be crying to us that you're being dragged to the child support court. Those are the part of the conversation we should be having. Okay, but anyway, which again, another contradicting thing. Which one do you want? You want them to keep the baby or not? Because if they keep the baby, then they're having babies outside of wedlock, and you know the drama that comes with that eventually. A lot of times.
Who has them in the future? They don't know.
Oh, my God.
So I just can't. I'm just a big believer in like the consequences for your decisions. Like, why are we always bailed out?
I believe that too.
Always, again, we've been on both sides.
You wanna know why?
We've been on.
No, but because there's systems in place to protect the society at large doesn't mean you won't get your consequences. Your type of consequences is It's basically just a human judging another human being. That's what you call consequences. You want to shame people, right? That's not real consequences. That's fake. That doesn't even work long term. Because eventually they will get numb to your shaming. It doesn't work. Isn't that what's going on right now? You shame people, they don't realize you're shaming. Like, what? You talking about me? They're not even they're not even listening to what you're saying because they can't relate, right? Because you're disconnected from value. What is the value in what you're prescribing for them? You're disconnected from that. So you just want to satisfy your own feelings of the fact that you hate what is going on, right? It's not good enough. Okay. The only result you can get from that is your personal satisfaction, your feelings of insulting another person. It's short term. So you have to keep it up. Keep shaming, insulting, guilt tripping, blaming. You have to keep that up. Okay? Because nothing else is gonna come outside of the feeling you get from that.
Both sides of adoption, like you can make it work.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
You want to know why girls get abortions? They don't want to ruin their bodies. That's it. You
Yeah.
can, dude. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
They can talk about.
That's
well,
terrible.
I don't want to bring a
That's
child into
terrible.
this world, and I'm not ready, and blah 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 blah. You know, put them up.
That's a terrible conclusion. But again, it's Donovan, so I don't know what I expect. But let's keep going.
Put them up for adoption. Well, the foster care system. There are, just like you said, girls can get bailed out of anything. What it really comes down to, the reason why girls get abortions is because they don't want to ruin their bodies, because childbirth destroys a woman's body. That is all there. That's the only good reason I can think of. That's extremely selfish. So
They get off.
it is
That's
what
the
it is.
thing. Like
Privilege of.
that's again where I understand like where the men are coming from, because when you think about it, like
You
modern
don't.
women, I've asked so many
Stop
girls, like,
it.
would you go down in lifestyle for a family? And the
Oh,
answer
they're like, hell no.
No, and that's the crazy thing. Like to me, it's like, yeah, like why would you not want kids? You want to die alone? You'd rather do that than, I don't know, not get to travel twice a year.
Oh my god.
Like
Yeah.
that's not worth children. Like and.
The man in front of you doesn't want kids. Like this girl, she has no idea how much confusion is coming her way in terms of this niche she's decided to blow up on. She has no idea how much confusion is coming her way. The guy in front of you doesn't want kids. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. But the talking point you're saying right now is not adding up.
To me, like I don't know, I just think it's sad. I understand like why men are walking away from marriage. I'm not.
You
I don't
understand
really
why
push it.
men-
Like,
wait,
that's
wait.
not worth children. Like, and to me, like I don't know, I just think it's sad. I understand like why men are walking away from marriage. I'm not. I don't really push it either way, but
Yeah.
it's just like I understand where they're coming from.
It's a sad state of affairs, man. It really is.
I have a. Oh, go
Oh
ahead.
no, go ahead. Go.
I was gonna say I have a friend in my life that ended up getting a girl pregnant, and he had no
Of course.
say in what she did with it
Oh man.
at all, because of his religious beliefs. Was just like, we're here now, let's do this, and she did not want to at all.
Yeah.
And the thing is like the way that the laws are today is such that he has no choice within that. There is no. I think like in China, some country in Asia, both parents have to sign before the deed is done.
Yeah.
But over here, the man has no say in that at all.
It's I don't. It's a very tough conversation. And again,
You're right about that.
the reason, and it's funny, my stance has nothing to do with politics or religion.
Yes, it does.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Take the religion, the politics out of it. It is wrong to end the lives of people before they're born. I don't know how anybody can say with a straight.
Nah, let's just leave that comment. It's deeper than that.
Yeah, I-
That's the simp talking to you. You can't think deeper than the simple, gullible surface area. That's fine. The conversation is deeper than that. I'm not taking one side or the other. It's just that I understand from what both sides are coming from. And I understand that there's more that goes into what puts a person in that position where they have to do that in the first place. Okay? And I also know for a fact that a lot of men, in particular, that are talking about this, they're hypocrites. They will be the first to jump for it if that's not what they want. Right?
I've had 6 sessions, and hopefully guys can find someone
We're rounding
they
up,
can
rounding up.
tolerate for 10 minutes at a time and maybe have a happy life. But in this day and age, the odds are not in your favor.
Where's Thanos at?
Yes, sir.
Send the asteroid.
I've heard that before. Send the asteroid.
Well, guys, I don't know how long we've been going, but it's for a minute. Thank you guys. What? Yeah.
Hey, wow, that flew by.
Boom.
I'm saying. Thank you guys for coming on. This was a fun pod.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me know who you guys. Maybe this will be like my Miami. Like, when I come to Miami,
This would be a lot of
be
fun.
like a 3-person podcast.
Boom.
Let me know who else you guys would want to see on.
There you go.
Put some content creators in the comments.
By the way, pick up my free ebook.
Anyway, that was a good one. It wasn't bad. It's not something I don't know. I think I had a good time reacting to that. I got some work done while I'm creating some content and then reacting to something while you watch on the sides. We will have a show later on, our normal show. You can see this is not a regular camera. You could tell, right? But nonetheless, it was fun. If you want me to do more stuff like this, let me know. You can join us in the Prestige family on WhatsApp with that link. You can also use this phone number, okay? And I'm actually going to go back into the group and encourage more people to come and watch this because I think there were lots of awareness, things to be aware of in terms of the rhetorics out there. And there were a lot of things that I also said in my reaction that I think would be extremely useful for anyone who would decide to take advantage of it. At least in terms of, like, remember, don't take anything I say as a religion. Just think about it, right? Just think about it deeply. Don't be so quick to fall for what anyone coming from their own story are saying out there, and they're making it to seem like it's a religion. They don't admit it's a religion. So you have to watch their actions. They're very assertive about what they say, and they try to turn it to the absolute truth. Your spirit says, no, there's more to this. And the truth is that there is more to it. Like, at the very least, there's you to it. It needs to be applied to you and your story. And the way you apply it will be different from individuals to individuals. Okay? But, with that being said, shout out to these guys, Just Pearly Things, MTR, Media Tutorial and Reviews, Donovan Sharp, Just Pearly Things, baby. Keep growing, You have no idea what's your inside, but it's okay. You'll be fine. MTR, shout out to MTR. MTR is balanced enough for me. Nobody knows it all. That's fine. Donovan Sharp, yeah, man. Higher therapy, man. Trust me, they're not going to tell you what to do. They will just help you. They will listen to you. You need to tell. There's more to that. There's more in that story. In those stories, there's more in them, and you need to unpack them. Because the next breakfast, heartbreak, we call it breakfast here, is going to be massive. You're going to go haywire, angry on members of the other gender. It's going to be bad. Okay? Because this is the person you're pouring everything into right now. It seems like you're really trusting the situation and stuff like that. But, damn, there's a lot there, right? But I don't want to judge this gentleman. I don't want to judge their audience either. Because I feel like there are real reasons. There's a lot of men going through a lot from a place of lack of understanding, ignorance, right? And unfortunately, the loudest noise is coming from the emptiest barrels. So we just have to keep doing the work. We have to keep doing the work. If you like this, let me know. If you really like it, let me know in the comment area, and I might do more of it. We've been live for 3. Because it's not really a show, so it's kind of a little bit effortless, closer to effortless, right? So if you like it, I'll do more of it. I'll be able to tell in numbers, but also tell me in words. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. I'll see you this evening, okay? And peace.
love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.